Sound check, sound check. Sound check, sound check. Thank you, Agape. All right, we're going to get started here in about 2 or 3 minutes. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Hope you had a great week. Hope you're having a great week. God bless you. Good to see you. Let's give a couple more people a chance to log in here. We already have a pretty decent crowd. Let's see, we have Davino, our regular guest speaker, and also one made a nut. Welcome. Shout out to Agape Love, Inflame Lip, Cindy Dane, Carly Miles, Cindy Abbott, Store, American Princess, Shirley, Edith. I see you, Shirley. All right, Carly, La. All right. Got a great group here going. Everything is everything. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. And happy Thursday. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you to everyone who took the time to like the live. Appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and get started. All right. All right. I want to say hello to everybody that's going to be watching on replay. Much love to you. All right. Shout out to Terry Sleuth. We have a pretty good itinerary tonight. We're going to start with the hearing, of course, the hearings. We're going to cover the timestamp on Linda Lane. I also have another case that I want to present towards the end. It's just so ridiculous that I decided to stick that in here on the end. But we're going to start with the hearing, and I will be giving an opportunity for anybody that would like to get on stage and talk about it. We got the Vino, the Italian in the house, our regular guest speaker, and also One Maiden Nut usually comes on and gives us some vibe. All right, so much love to them. All right, shout out to Audrey Cates. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see everybody. All right, God bless you. Now listen, I want to start with the hearing, and I want you to AF said that there was too much money involved not to have cameras. Turned out to be right. Okay, now I'm going to show you just a few seconds of this hearing, and I want you to let me know if it's just me, and this is just crazy. As you know, the hearing, they denied it. We already know that. I told you from day one, there's no way in heaven or hell this case is not going to trial. Only way this case doesn't go to trial is if Brian Kohberger takes a plea or, I hate to say it, harms himself. I hope that doesn't happen, but hey, it has happened before. I'm going to show you just a few seconds, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you how ridiculous this is. This man is on trial for quadruple homicide, and he's yawning in his own hearing. I want you to watch this and see if you see it.
But it was, there was, I can't remember the name right at the moment, but in the 1950s, there was dicta where the judge, the appellate judge.
Okay, did you see it? Did you see him yawning in this hearing? Can you believe it? Does anybody, I'm going to play it one more time. When he puts his hands up to his mouth, he's like trying to play it off. But this man is yawning in his own hearing for a quadruple homicide. Look.
But it was, there was, I can't remember the name right at the moment, but in 1950s.
Right there.
There was dicta where.
Now, I want to ask you, is it me? Who does that? Is it something that I'm missing here? I mean, is Brian Kohberger all right in the head? Somebody tell me. How can you be, I'm going to freeze it right here. He's yawning. He's got his mouth open. He's trying to play it off. I mean, what? Please help me to understand. Please help me to understand. Is Brian all right? What could he possibly be doing in his cell in the evening time that he's yawning during the proceedings? I mean, is it me? I'm waiting to hear Cindy Abbott. However, not a good look. Likely knew what the outcome would be, so bored. I mean, you're on trial for your life. No matter, how can you, I mean, is it that he couldn't sleep last night? And so now he's tired in court? Can we just hope that's what it is? Who does that? All right, somebody, Divino, thank you. I mean, I am shocked and appalled. Blas talking about his hair. Lord have mercy. Listen, who yawns when your life is on the line And even if, I mean, you're supposed to be looking serious or hopeful or attentive. They said when you put your hands together like Donald Trump, you're thinking and blah, blah, blah. This man is yawning. What is going on here? Is it me? I mean, has he really detached himself mentally from this case and, just drawn a conclusion about the outcome? I I want to believe the psych op thing, but I just can't see it being a psych op and people passed away for real. I'm thinking that this is actually what we're witnessing. Maybe he was forgetting to breathe. Carly, this is, oh, there you go. I knew it. I knew somebody was going to say that. I'm trying to put it up there. This thing is running slow tonight. I'm thinking that too, Cindy. Hold on. I'm trying to put, yes, we can, one maiden nut. This is why he doesn't want cameras in there, so we can't see him yawning. You don't, I mean, you should be listening to every word the attorneys are saying. What if they say something you don't agree with that you have to address later on? Okay, Pink Girl, you have a point there, but I still can't see it. I don't think he's sleeping well. I mean, I would suspect that he isn't. Well, but just to know that this could be the beginning of a reversal of fortune for me. I can't see sitting in there in the court yawning and the judge is looking at me. I'm on camera. Okay, yes, he could. I'm thinking maybe he is on some type of sedative. I hope so. Because let me look at, okay, I'm going to play the rest of it. It's just about 57 seconds. They made sure they could yawn.
Where the judge, the appellate judge, said, no, that's not the standard because they were using the unreasonable doubt.
Now listen, I can't get past it. I can't get past it. Everybody's making excuses for him. Y'all talking about his hair and how handsome he is. I believe y'all been writing letters to Brian Kohberger. Tell the truth. Who in here has sent a letter to Brian Kohberger telling him you support him and you know he's innocent? Tell the truth. Who has sent Brian Kohberger a letter? Maybe we should write him, y'all, and ask him why was he yawning in court, and we'll all sign it like a petition. Why were you looking at his hair, saying how handsome he is, and this guy is yawning? I mean, what is that? His parents have got to be horrified. He's smelling his fingers. Well, I'm not going to say what came to my mind. I'm not going to let you draw me into that, blah. But I can't get past it. I think this is an indicator of him mentally detaching from this, maybe saying, I'm laughing at what Blah said, Carly. I'm laughing because I'm shocked and appalled. I didn't ask him to do that. I mean, he's on trial. He's in the public eye. And if I was a juror and I saw him yawning, I would feel like maybe he mentally detached himself from this whole situation. Like he's in his own world and maybe that's how he copes with it. I'm just saying, that's the only logical, either that and the fact that he's probably not sleeping well at night. But I mean, we're lighthearted here. We don't owe Brian Kohberger anything. We didn't put him on trial. So, I mean, we could talk about Brian. We can talk about Brian. Y'all talk about his hair and stuff. I don't care how he looks. 4 people died. I want to make sure that, he doesn't know anything about it. He didn't do it. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying it doesn't matter how long he's been in jail, Vicky. You don't yawn in court. It's not a good look. It's really not. That's my opinion now. We don't have to get into it first thing in the show, but I just feel like, this is a glimpse into his state of mind. And to me, that's scary. It's almost like, I don't know. All right, here's a good point. And not instead, one made nut. HT, let's focus on the judge's behaviorisms instead. No, I'm going to focus on everybody's behaviorisms. Stop trying to make me let Brian slide on everything. Okay? That's not a guilty verdict because he's yawning in court. But I'm just saying, it's just mind-blowing to me that, he doesn't have any adrenaline. I don't know. That's just crazy. All right, but let me get off it because I got the leave Brian alone vibe. It's real strong in here. I believe y'all been writing Brian letters, ladies. I do. Somebody has been writing Brian Kohberger letters in here. And I want y'all to go ahead and confess. Turn yourself in, okay? Maybe we can get together on it. Now, I don't know. I just feel like that's crazy. Now, let's talk about the fact that it was denied. And I want to show you something. Hold on, let me change my screen. I want to show you something. Show you my background. All right. This is Title 19 criminal procedure for indictments by a grand jury according to Idaho law. All right. And if you notice, the judge said the reason why he denied is because it was presented to him too early. And I think 2 things about that. I'm going to give my opinion and then you give yours. All right. First of all, I think that the judge was just looking for an excuse. I looked up this paper because I wasn't sure what the rules were, but he said the reason why the request for dismissal was denied is because they put in the request too early, a technicality. And so that had to really hurt and that's another reason why I don't think I would be yawning, because I would be kind of upset about that. Maybe at the judge or my attorney once somebody, didn't do something right. And this is a serious case. This is a serious case. Hold on. This guy is facing the death penalty. Yeah, jumping the D train. If convicted and appeals don't work out. Yeah, nobody's winning appeal. 4 young people massacred. This case is as big as sleuths have discovered beyond LE or speculated about. I agree, Agape Love. I agree. All right. Yeah, you're right. One made nut. You say something about Brian and boy, all the guns come out. But, I have to stand my ground. Because if my son was on trial, I'll be telling him, you don't need to be yawning in the courtroom. You need to be paying attention to everything that's said. You know why? Because he's the one that's got to talk to these lawyers every day. He's the one that's got to keep up with his case because he has a public defender. He has public defenders. He's got to look out for himself. And he got a long ways to go. I wasn't shocked either, Cindy. Okay, so listen. this paper says, an indictment cannot be found without the concurrence of at least 12 grand jurors. When so found, it must be endorsed a true bill, and the endorsement must be signed by the foreman of the grand jury. All right. If it had been dismissed, all right, 19403, resubmission of charge after dismissal. The dismissal of the charge does not prevent its resubmission to a grand jury as often as the court may direct, but without such direction, it cannot be resubmitted. And so even if they had dismissed it, they could have put it right back in according to 1403. Endorsement of names of witnesses. When an indictment is found, the names of the witnesses examined before the grand jury or whose depositions may have been read before them must be inserted at the foot of the indictment or endorsed thereon before it's presented to the court. So if Bethany and Dylan's names had to be on in the footnotes of the indictment, and strangely enough, after Ann Taylor got the indictment, I think that's when Bethany was subpoenaed, because she saw her name on the witness list on the indictment, because it says right here, I don't know, it's number 1404, 19-1404, endorsement of names of witnesses. Again, when an indictment is found, the names of the witnesses examined before the grand jury. The names of the witnesses examined before the grand jury. Does that mean that Bethany and DM, they testified at the grand jury? It says their names have to be inserted in the footnotes of the indictment before it is presented to the court. So my question is, did Bethany and Dylan testify at the grand jury? I've never heard that. Okay, let's see. It's a couple more. Indictment of defendant not in custody. He's in custody. All right. Rules of pleading. All the forms of pleading in criminal actions and the rules by which the sufficiency of pleadings is to be determined are those prescribed by this code. First pleading on the part of the people is the indictment. Requirements of the indictment. The indictment must contain the title of the action, specifying the name of the court to which the indictment is presented and the names of the parties. It must also include a statement of the acts constituting the offense in ordinary and concise language, and in such manner as to enable a person of common understanding to know what is intended. Now, this is formalities. All right, it may be substantially in the following form: the state of Idaho against A.B. in the district court of blah, 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 is accused by the grand jury of the county of blah, blah, blah. Okay, all of that's supposed to be in there. Certainty required of indictment. It must be direct and certain as it regards the party charged, the offense charged, the particular circumstances of the offense charged, when they are necessary to constitute a complete offense. Okay, I'm going to put a pin in this right quick and give you your first poll. No, the deposition, right? But witnesses can testify at a grand jury. I don't know if they did, but they can. All right? Okay. Here's your poll. And I want to see where your head is with this before we go further into this paper. All right. You take that off. Now, Judge, here's the poll. Judge said he trashed the dismissal because it was submitted too early. Now, was he being petty, or was the Ann Taylor miss the mark? Did Ann Taylor mess up? Now, I was looking for a law that says, the request has to be in at a certain time or whatever. I don't see it. Wait, allegation as to time. No, that's not it. Erroneous designation of person injured. Construction of words institute. Sufficiency of indictment. Number 4, sufficiency of the indictment. The indictment is sufficient if it could be understood therefrom. Number 4, that the offense was committed at some place within the jurisdiction of the court, except where the act though done through without the local jurisdiction of the county is tribal therein. The offense was committed at some time prior to the time finding the indictment. That the act or omission charged as the offense is clearly and distinctly set forth in ordinary and concise language. I'm gonna put the link to this in the chat, so you can go to the document yourself in case you want to see it or look at it later. All right, here's the link to the PDF. All right, it seems like everybody thinks that the judge is being petty. I don't know if he had to be held to that stipulation of time or if it was his discretion. I would love to know. I'm still looking. But amendment of indictment, presumptions of facts, pleading judgments. Indictment for perjury, larceny, embezzlement, selling obscene books. This distinction between accessories and principals abolished. Trial of accessories without principal. Charging 2 or more offenses in same indictment. 2 or more offenses may be charged in the same indictment or information in a separate count for each offense if the offenses charged, whether felonies or misdemeanors or both, are of the same or similar character or are based on the same act or transaction or on 2 or more acts or transactions connected together or constituting parts of a common scheme plan. Unnecessary to negate statutory defenses in certain cases. Okay, so I've been through this whole document. I don't see a stipulation for the time that it says an indictment when found must be presented by the foreman. No. I don't see anything where the attorney has to file it within a certain time range. I don't see that here. I don't see it at all. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know. Shout out to Robin Latham. Okay, we got moderators in here tonight. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes. I've looked to see where the stipulation is, where you have to put it in during a certain time frame. I've looked and I can't find it. That's not to say it doesn't exist, I'm sure it does if he said this on, on camera, but I don't get it. I think this was ridiculous, a waste of time and tax money because I don't get it. They went through all of that and Judge knew when she turned it in that it was put in too early, and they just still went on with this circus show. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. All right. Shout out to Brian Hoffman. This is huge. Yeah, it is. I just don't understand it. So here we have the judge knew from the time that she filed it that it was no good. And now we're at the hearing, which I don't understand why we had the hearing. They could have just said right then and there, this is not going to float. You might as well, make up your mind if you're going to refile for dismissal or whatever. But this is not going to fly. And we don't want to waste taxpayer money for a hearing for me to tell you that. I don't understand why they didn't just do that. And then we got Brian yawning through the whole thing. Somebody said they felt like Brian knew the outcome already. I agree with that. I agree that he knew this wasn't going to work. I agree with that. For some reason, I just feel like he knew that because there's no way he's not going to trial. And if this, in a way, maybe it's good that he's yawning. It could be the opposite, that his fingernails got little cracks of blood where he's been chewing his nails off and his hands are shaking and he is under his eyes look like, water balloons. Maybe it's good that he's sedated, gave him something to relax. And maybe it's a good thing because maybe that's something to where we don't have to worry about suicide watch because he's taking it rather well, almost too well. But what can he do? But I was just shocked at that. I never seen that before where somebody's yawning in a case with multiple homicides where, their freedom is on the line. Maybe I'm just from the wrong generation, but I don't understand it. Maybe y'all have the solution. Honestly, I don't get it. All right. And then now where does that leave us? Where does that leave us if it's been dismissed? Where does that leave us? Where does that leave us now that this has been dismissed? The speedy trial has been waived. And this is going to go on and on and on and on. It's going to go on and on past the break of dawn. So I don't understand the method, is what I'm saying. All right. Davino said, I don't think this judge is qualified to handle a case like this, in my opinion. Why do you say that? Do y'all believe that Judge is being impartial? Or do you believe that he's been told to find Brian guilty and that's it? What do we have here in Judge? Because the dismissal is almost saying, when you say, okay, you didn't file it, or you filed it too early. What about this man's life and his right, to fight for his life? I don't know. I feel kind of bad that, I've been trying to find ways to clear him 100%, and he's in there yawning like he'd rather be watching the cartoons or something. I'm kind of shook on that because when I was watching the trial at first, I was like, they're not, I knew they weren't going to dismiss it, but I was hoping some strong point would pop out there that we could jump on. And it's not, they're not going to want to hear this, Davino. I'll be bringing you on in a minute. I'm just saying. All right. I see you, Eagle Eye area. Much love to you. Much love to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Miss Renee M. Ray Annette P. Shout out to you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Shadow. Good to see you. Hey, we got a great group here tonight. Y'all looking so good. All right, you sounding strong. Ready to jump on me about Brian. I mean, honestly, this to me is like defiance. Could be defiance. Davino, I mean, at least you got the courage to say it. You know, we might have to put on a bulletproof vest in here to talk about Brian. But the truth of the matter is, it could be seen as mocking. It could be. I mean, you got your lawyer standing up there talking, and then you have the defense ready to send you to the death row, and you yawning. I am surprised. Very surprised. Very, very surprised. Well, I shouldn't be surprised, but something is off here. Something is off. And I'm telling you, it's something that's off. And I don't know what it is, but something is off here. I feel like this is the beginning of us seeing another side of his personality, because we weren't seeing this type of thing before. He was very attentive and looked a little nervous in some of the proceedings. This is a totally different persona. I mean, wouldn't you agree? This is a different type of persona than what we've been seeing before. Come on, guys, be honest. Be honest. Take off your Brian Kohberger fan hat and be honest. This is a different persona than what we saw before, because he looked a little nervous the first couple of weeks, and he's always been attentive. But I mean, yawning. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And then I see a lot of people saying he knows that he's not going to be convicted. Yep, that's possible too. That's possible too. But I'm gonna look. I want to look at something right quick. Just give me 1 second. I want to see. Okay, look at this. I mean, that's troubling to me. Either his mind is gone to where he's totally detached himself from reality, or he's, could be tired. You have to give him the benefit of the doubt, or he could be mocking the judge. Now look at this. It says, I know that's a little far-fetched. I didn't say illegal. Is it illegal to yawn overly loud during court? If a judge thinks you're doing it intentionally disruptive, you could be held in contempt. In most cases, you will get yelled at by the officers. Look, man gets 6 months for yawning. Make sure you get plenty of sleep before. Now, this is not my words, so you can't jump on me, because these are not my words. All right? It says, make sure you get plenty of sleep before going to court. Clifton Williams didn't, and he's been sentenced to 6 months in jail for yawning. I was flabbergasted because I didn't realize a judge could do that. Williams' father, Clifton Williams Sr., told the Chicago Tribune, it seems to me like a yawn is an involuntary action, which is true. Okay. As the judge sentenced Mayfield to 2 years probation, Williams let out a yawn and involuntary fox paws in such a formal setting. Circuit Judge Daniel Rozak thought the yawn was criminal and sentenced Williams to 6 months in jail, the maximum penalty for contempt of court without a jury trial. Rozak's order said that Williams raised his hands while at the same time making a loud yawning sound. Okay, Kohberger raised his hands, but he didn't make a noise, causing a disrespectful interruption in court. So in a strange turn of events, Mayfield, a felon, will be able to walk freely, while Williams, the yawner, will have to spend at least 3 weeks behind bars for his offending yawn. But it's not out of character for Rozak. Contempt of court charges are typically issued when a judge feels someone is challenging or ignoring the court's authority, yelling at a judge, ignoring subpoenas, appearing in court drunk, etc. Now, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. But a lot of judges would find yawning as disrespectful. I mean, sentencing somebody to do time, if you're making noise while you're yawning, you're obviously being disrespectful on purpose. He didn't make any noise, but he raised his hands and went on and got it in there. And to me, that's showing another side of his personality. This is it in black and white. I didn't write this, and this is the Chicago Tribune. I got sense enough to know you're not supposed to be yawning in court. Or you can put your head down, put your hand over your mouth and do it, to where nobody can see it. But that's not how it was. Now, my question is, are we getting ready to see another side of Brian Kohberger's personality? Remember the video I made where the guy had been pretending to have 2 personalities? He pretended to be, what's the name of it? Primal Fear, where the guy was trying to act like he had split personalities, and come to find out he only had one, the one that was the killer. I'm just saying, people, you help me out here. Okay, we're going to switch this. Hold on, I got one more poll. Okay, now, where I'm from, there's a saying, and that saying is, time outlasts all BS. Time outlasts all BS. And so if a person is hiding their real personality, over time, it's got to come out. It's got to come out. Y'all some hardcore Brian fans, I tell you the truth. Y'all are some hardcore Brian fans, I'm telling you. Y'all not gonna give it a break. And I'm good. I'm good with that because I'm getting ready to clear him again from Linda Lane. But I'm just telling you, we have to keep our eyes and ears open. We have to keep our eyes and ears open, because everything is meaningful. Nothingness is meaningful. So you can't say that one made Nuts' point was not to read into his every move, and Brian was saying we're reading too much into his body language. Well, that's what happens when you're in court on public TV in an internationally broadcast case. That's what happens. They look at your every move because that's all we have to go on right now. What comes out of your mouth and your body language. That's what everybody is judged on. So we can, hey, y'all, Whoever has been writing Brian Kohberger letters in here, you need to confess and turn yourself in. We're gonna work with you. All right. Now let's go on and move on to the case itself. I want to talk about the timeline quickly and how it basically clears Brian Kohberger from Linda Lane. All right. Let me find my spot.
Yeah, that's not the standard because they were using the unreasonable doubt.
Okay, hold on. I have some photos here. That's a little rough. I don't understand. Okay, let's go to the discussion at hand, and we will do what we have to do. I can't put the PCA up here along with this, but I will have to just give you the times. Okay. This first one here is a map that shows you how close together. It says the fastest route between Linda Lane and King Road is 2 minutes. If you take Taylor Avenue, that's how close together they are. Okay. Now, I don't know if today is considered a victory for the prosecution or not. Not really, because it was just something Ann Taylor had to do. But basically what Judge said was that she did it wrong. And everybody's saying she's a high-powered attorney, but Judge essentially said she did it wrong. So, I mean, I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, on the poll, some people are saying, yes, we are going to see another personality from Brian. Because if he's a wolf in sheep's clothing, that wolf has to take that suit off sometimes, because a wolf already has hair on his body. He's got to put on a sheep suit. He's going to get hot, and sooner or later, just for a second, he's going to take that suit off when he thinks nobody's paying attention. And you'll get to see him for who he really is. And so that yarn was not a good thing for me, and I'm going to leave it alone. You already said how you feel about it, and I respect that. Let's take a moment to say hello to our international viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in. Whether you're watching now or on replay, we love you over here. Hello to my fellow Americans, first of all. God bless you. You know, we're trying to straighten this thing out, you know. But we do have viewers from around the world that are very interested in the case, who show love and sympathy for the victims and their families. And so, hey, we appreciate you, and we're happy that you're joining us. All right. Now, whether Brian Kohberger was involved in this is well, I can't let it go, blah. I'm on something else now. I don't want to go back to it, but I'm not going to let that go. I'm going to be watching Brian. I'm just be honest with you. Y'all might be upset with me, but I am going to be watching from now on, because if that's any indicator, okay, I'm not micromanaging. I'm watching somebody yawning in the courtroom when so much is at stake. That's what I'm doing. And so maybe you're a little too biased on Brian's side. Maybe you to the point where you can't be objective like you could be. You know, I'm totally objective, because like I said, I don't believe that Brian did this according to the PCA, but I can't clear him 100%. Like I said before, okay, the big picture is that somebody is on trial for homicide. and they're in court yawning. That's the big picture for me. Okay, so the fact that you all want me to overlook him yawning is, to me, is just an indicator that you're not being completely objective. That's what that says to me. Now that's just my opinion. All right, Davino, we'll talk about that when you come on stage. Okay, you don't have to agree with me. That's my opinion, that he shouldn't be yawning in court. And I'm not going to change that. You could call it micromanaging, being petty, or whatever. I'm not going to change it. That's my opinion, and I'm not going to change it, because if I was on trial for something like this, whether I did it or not, I would be paying attention to everything, and I wouldn't want to make the judge upset with me or give him, okay, well, I feel like it was, he needs to control that. I think his parents need to step in and coach him, because his attorneys are not. All right, I'm gonna get off it, y'all. I'm looking at the comments. I'm on something else, but if y'all want to keep going, that's fine. I am not gonna stop being objective, because the reason why I cannot, for those who have never been in the live or haven't been watching the videos on this channel, the reason I have not completely cleared, I, in my opinion, have cleared him from Linda Lang, and I'm going to show you why here quickly. I don't want to keep spending a lot of time on that. That's why I never really made any videos on Linda Lang up until now. People kept pressing me and stuff because I didn't believe it did, and I don't believe it now. But the reason I have not cleared Brian 100% is because his phone records I don't have, and I don't know where he was. And it's as simple as that. And until I can get past that with something that, in my gut says, okay, I can just let that go now. Until that happens, I'm not going to just put a Brian is innocent stamp on his forehead and I don't know where he was. Okay? I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all talking about how he looks. But for that matter, Satan was beautiful. Okay? According to the Bible, Satan was the most beautiful angel. Okay? The devil does not look like a monster. The devil likes to blend in. The devil he's not going to send you somebody that you would naturally repel. He's going to send you somebody that you're attracted to. That's how he works. So the more good looking he is or she is, the less likely we are to believe. Now, Brian had tattoos up and down his arms like he's been in a gang, and he didn't tuck his shirt in, and he had body piercings and stuff. People have a different opinion of him, but that's being biased. Only thing that we're supposed to be using to determine whether he did this in this case is the evidence. I don't care if he's handsome or whether he looks like somebody out of Hell's Angels. I want to look at the evidence, and I want the truth. I want the truth. Okay, well, I'm not ranting. I put something else on the screen, and y'all are still talking about it, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. Okay, I get it. I'm not allowed to talk about him yawning in court being disrespectful anymore, but these comments I'm putting up, y'all still talking about it. Okay, that's what that is. Cause I already made my point. Is y'all coming at me, but you don't want me to say something back. We have to stay objective. Okay, the devil is in a red dress. He's in a suit. He's not. Satan is not coming at us with stuff that we don't want to deal with on an everyday basis anyway. Okay, so I don't care how Brian Kohberger looks physically. He could be a handsome young man and be a serial killer. Okay, Ted Bundy was handsome. So what? He got married in court. Somebody totally disregarded all the women he demolished and married him. So, I mean, we've seen that. Criminals have groupies too. So it's nothing new. I am. You know I am. Tell it to L. You know how I am. I'm gonna speak my truth. All right. And if my truth bothers you, it must be some truth in it. Because you'll be talking to everybody else in the chat saying hard truth tripping. But you telling me to move on. What up? Come on now. If you can't stand for anybody to say anything about Brian Kohberger at this point, you need to check yourself. And I'm talking to everybody in the chat, and I'm talking to everybody watching this live that's not in the chat. That means you're not objective anymore. You couldn't be a juror. You couldn't be a juror. Because that's just as bad as somebody that already feel like he's guilty. You couldn't be a juror. You're just as biased as somebody that thinks he's guilty. If it's like that, it is what it is. All right. Now, what he's not guilty of, in my opinion, is Linda Lane. And the biggest problem I have is the timestamp. Let me move this a little further where you can see the timestamp. Now we see how congested this complex, this apartment place is. On the left, you can see the dumpster in this area that's supposed to be below the camera. Somebody's going to take a chance and do this just below a security camera. You can see the dumpster there. Okay, hopefully you're looking at the screen so I can, because I'm getting ready to scroll forward a little bit. Hold on a minute. Okay, there it is. Okay, this timestamp says 4:05 a.m. 4:05 a.m. Now, let's think about this. 4:05 a.m. What's going on there? Well, look who the cat dragged in. My guardian angel. All right. Shout out to AF for always showing up, supporting the channel, giving us some good talk and whatever. Much love to you, AF. And several people said thank you for the memberships last week. I don't know if you had time to read the comments in the last video, but a lot of people did say thank you. All right, let's see what the sticker says. Why I just checked in to see what happened at the hearing. Of course, they're not going to dismiss. Yes, I agree. I said that from the beginning. I said, hey, I'm not at all surprised because I said from the beginning, there's no way and that this case is not going to trial. They didn't build that PCA and pin him to the wall just to, just play around with it. No, that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. So I knew it was going to trial. I knew this. And I knew that pretty much, well, I'm going to tell you what shocked me was waiving the speedy trial, but I'm trying to stay on topic. Y'all keep throwing me for a loop. All right, but we appreciate you, AF, and y'all hold on. I promise you, I'm getting ready to put the link out here. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and put the link because it's getting ready to get tight. I already got some people, that's probably a little upset about my comments on his demeanor. But hey, we got to move it on. We got to move it on. Now listen, the timestamp on here is 4:05. I'm going to put that in the chat. I want you to remember it. And this is a mistake that they made, whoever made this video. All right, we got another super chat. Tell it to L, $5. All right, we rich, y'all. We're rich. Tell it to L and L putting it down for us on a Thursday night. Hard truth, Thursday night live. Don't be mad at me. I'm just giving it to you straight. The truth is hard. The truth is hard, y'all. And so we have to go ahead and eat it, even though it doesn't taste good. Even if it doesn't taste good, we have to eat it. All right. Now, listen up. I put 4:05 on the screen. Did I put the link for the stage? I put 405 on in the chat so you can hold on to that time, because we have to look at this from the objective point of view and also what the PCA said. Now, the PCA, according to the PCA, the only thing I'm interested in is the movement of suspect vehicle 1. And in my opinion, it could not have been Brian Kohberger, because guess what? He could not have done it during that short time period by himself. That's just common sense. So if you're saying that he was riding by himself, that doesn't make sense. All right. And so according to the PCA, the 3-point turn was made at about 4:07. So that means that while this camera is rolling right here, right now, Brian Kohberger would have been on King Road. And remember what we said about mutually exclusive events, where two or more events actually cannot happen at the same time. If this happened, that the mistake they made, I'm going to tell you what they should have done, whoever made this Linda Lane narrative. They should have made it before 4 o'clock. But they tried so hard to fit the white car in there. That's what messed it up. Because Brian Kohberger could not have been turning around on King Road and at this complex at the same time. And not only that, there was quite a bit of activity. Let me pull it up. There was quite a bit of activity of him driving before, and then he left. And then I'm gonna skip ahead to the end. Remember when he left the crime scene for good. Remember, he was supposedly left on Wellington Drive. All right. So we're talking about timeline. That's all right. We're talking about timeline. And so I think I do need to pull up the PCA and pull up the times so we can be exact, because I've already done it. But I want you to see the exact time. It's not possible. All right? Just follow me. Give me a chance. It's just not possible. Okay? Here we go. Hold on. All right? So you can't say I'm making it up. All right? It's believed that the homicides occurred between 4 and 4:25. The first problem we have with that is that he couldn't have done all 4, 2 of them over here and 2 of them over here in 20 minutes. That's just common sense. Okay? So just looking at it generally is not possible. But I want to look at the movement of the white car in the thing. All right? And AF is saying something about the DoorDash. Okay, I have a theory about that, but I'm trying to stay on track because, y'all, I get distracted. Now, a review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20. Starting at 3:29 and ending at 4:20. So they're saying that Brian Kohberger was in Moscow at 3:29. 3:29, right? So if he was in Moscow at 3:29 and he was on Linda Lane he couldn't have been on Linda Lane anywhere between 4. He couldn't have done it. He couldn't have been there at 4:05. He couldn't have been there at 4:15. Not and match up with the PCA. I don't know why they tried to match it up to the PCA. All right. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time at approximately 4:04 a.m. All right. So at 4:04 a.m., he was in his car supposedly entering the area from Walenta Drive. If he was coming from Pullman, he got off the interstate right there, and the way to get there would have been from Walenta Drive, which is the opposite direction of Linda Lane. So at 4:04, they're saying he was on King Road. He was on King Road. All right. Here's the 3-point turn. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Now, all this happened between 4:04 and 4:08. 4:08. So, assuming the only way he could have made it to Linda Lane is if he never went in the house on King Road. Does that make sense? He could not have gone in the house on King Road once he turned around and went there. But the PCA is saying that the car stayed at the house and came back out. It stayed at the house between 4:08 and 4:17. According to the PCA, and you can it's right here. Between 4:08 a.m. and 4:17 a.m. he was inside the house. This is what the PCA is telling us. Now, here's my question. Yes, okay. Now, I want to talk about this right here. The 2 white cars. Now, in my opinion, there are several white cars because the one on Steiner Avenue is not a Hyundai Elantra, but they're saying it was his car, the one on Steiner Avenue. To me, the one on Steiner Avenue and the one that was passing by the house at 9:30 could be the same car, but it's not an Elantra. And then the car at the gas station was a totally different car. And then we have the car that's supposed to actually be on King and Queen Road. This car is different from the one on Steiner Avenue. So it's possible that there were 3 white cars, Be honest. Okay, I'm going to put the link here. I want y'all to come on and talk to me. Okay? It could be 3 cars. Be honest with you. It could be 3 cars. And I got a big question for you. After we get where we're trying to go, I got a big question for you about these cars that just came to my mind. Because I can vouch for the fact that the car at the gas station, the car on Steiner Road, and the car that they claim was on King and Queen Road between 4 and 4:20, it's possible that all 3 of these were 3 different cars. I see you tell it to L. All right, good letting us know. All right, now, I'm just saying it could be 3 cars. I really believe it could be actually 3 white cars. So what does that tell us? Is it possible that there's more than one? If we have all these white cars, what does that tell us? What are you taking away from that? What are you taking away from that? Okay, I am not sure I am informed about all the cars. Well, yes, I have to agree that there are at least two. I believe it could even be three white cars. Now, here's my question. Are the cars, the number of white cars and the timestamps, I mean, do they need to match? Does it matter? Does it matter? And if so, how? Somebody jump on stage. It's getting good now. I got some hard questions for you now. But if let's say there are two or three suspect vehicles, any one of them could have been carrying Brian Kohberger. Any one of them could have been delivering DoorDash. Any one of them could have been over there visiting or whatever. You know, any one of them could have been a lookout for the police. Any one of them could have been, you see what I'm saying? All right, we got F. All right, let's welcome AF, my guardian angel, to the stage. AF, where are we with these multiple cars? Can you hear?
You know what? I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
There's a delay on this thing. Like I talk and then it comes over later.
Okay. All right. Now, you said Brian pulled into the car park and shined his lights on the people in the car park. At what time was this supposed to happen? Can you hear me?
I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to go back and look. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, let me try this again.
Okay.
I would have to check the footage again to see when Brian drove into the car park. But I believe right after he shined his lights on the people, he left.
Okay. Now, how can we prove that it was Brian? Do they have his tag? Do they have him on camera? Can we prove that it was Brian? I'm not saying that all right. All right, Andy Ruler, get a clue, says one of the white cars is the Chrysler. I think we lost F. Maybe she's coming back in. Let me put the link back in here so we can get her tape. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'll just be looking for your comments in the chat, AF. Thank you for coming on. I know you had a little delay in your audio, but that's all right. We're gonna get your tape one way or the other. Now, I'm just having a problem with the timestamp because I mean we might all be being fooled here with some of this stuff, but I just think that for this narrative to work, it should have been sometime before 4 o'clock. I think whoever made this narrative should have made it for before 4 o'clock if this is some reenactment, because to try to make it happen in a different place at the same time as the PCA doesn't work, because even if he didn't ever go on Linda Lane, he didn't have time to do it by, the PCA timeline doesn't give enough time for one person to go in and do that. And so to add on that he was in another place. Okay, we have Davino coming in. All right. Okay. Welcome. Let's give a warm welcome to our regular guest speaker, Davino the Italian.
Hello, my dear.
Hello.
First of all, I want to pay my respects to the victims and the families of that horrible mass shooting that took place in Maine.
That's right. I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it is. 3 cars. I also remember one of the pictures, Jack D, where he lived, there was also a white Elantra, if you remember that.
Right.
But I can't pinpoint on anything from that. I mean, if that wasn't the same car that drove past the gas station, that wasn't an Elantra, that definitely wasn't BK, number one. And if I recall right, the one that they showed that was near the house, I thought that one had a sunroof on it. And I think BK's car didn't have a sunroof on it.
You talking about the one at 9:30?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it had a sunroof, but it definitely wasn't his car because it was a box-shaped car, first of all.
Right.
And that
exactly.
large area around it. And that car was older. There's no way that car was a 2015. And the back window is shaped going in the opposite direction. So that was not his car. But it was a white car. So, like...
It's a white car. Yeah.
Okay, we got AF back. All right.
All right.
Oh, AF's gonna get you.
How come nobody else pops on the chat?
Okay, they're gonna come on. You have to give them a chance.
They're gonna come on stage because I'm gonna throw them the mic.
They're in the chat gossiping.
They need to get on the stage and perform.
They want to hear you. They want to talk to Davino.
They can talk to me anytime they want. Hey, kiss the daddy, kiss the daddy. Buonasera.
Okay, well, AF is on there. Oh, I love your profile picture. That is so cute. Aviation. Listen, you, AF, can you say something?
I just put this avatar on.
That's beautiful.
That's cool. That is nice.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. Now, we want to hear about the white cars. And also, I want to know, are they saying that they ID'd Brian when he came and did the 3-point turn? Did they offer any type of shot of his license plate or him driving or whatever? Or we still speculating about this?
It's a K-point turn, you know? We learned how to do that when we take a driving test. I mean, usually you do a K-point turn if it's such a narrow area to make that turn, you'll use that. Otherwise, you can just make a complete 360 turn. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's the big deal about that. I mean, people do it all the time. They miss their destination. They turn around. They may turn around the 360 way. They may turn around with a K turn. Whatever works. So I don't think they should be judged for something like that. I mean, I've done that before too. So.
Well, my concern is the timing. And AF,
Yeah.
it says device is not connected. Same problem everybody has, but it doesn't last. I'm sure she'll be back.
I'm going to say this much about BK doing this entire thing. X was a strong girl. Remember that she was fit. She was in gymnastics, and she wasn't no stick. She was stick, but she was in good shape. I think she could have taken him in a second.
Right.
But I'm being honest. I mean, forget about E. I think X could have taken. Could have took him seriously. Right. Among others. But yes, yeah, I think she could have. Yeah.
To me, Maddie's the only one that.
Yeah, you know, the weakest one out of all of them. Yeah,
wouldn't have stood a chance. But
no, but X would have.
Xana giving him a go.
Yeah, but I think Xana would have just demolished him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as well as Kay. Yeah.
We have a problem with all these white cars because I think this is what the police department wanted when they put this white car out there in the press release, because they said in the beginning they were looking for a white Sentra. Then it changed to Elantra, and then they changed the year. I think that this white car has put us in a tailspin in December, and then once he was arrested, you know, it's one of the things that a lot of people really just feel like it should convict him, but they don't have a screenshot of his tag. They don't have a screenshot of him being the actual.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. There's no actual video or screenshot of the tag itself, which is really bizarre. There's no actually footage of him actually physically in the vehicle itself. With all the technology they have today, they could actually, magnify that so many times over and see who's actually in that car. That's what blows my mind.
Well, the only problem I have with this Linda Lane narrative is not only is he committing a crime at King and Queen Road between 4 and 420, but he's pit stopping over in another place for 2 of the homicides.
Yeah, these did not take place at that time. They took place way, way before that. I'd say 2 hours before that.
That's exactly my point. If you're going to say that something happened on Linda Lane, why on earth would you try to put it as the same time as the PCA? And then throw the white car in there when the car couldn't have been doing all this stuff on King and Queen Road and then come over here on Linda Lane and turn around. It's not possible.
I think that they were waiting, like I said, we had this discussion before, and when X and E came home, those were their first, victims, forgive me for saying. And then the other ones, when they came in, there was the element of surprise. They just walked into it.
Okay. Hold on a second. AF, what happened? Are you still trying to come back in? You got your avatar up and everything. We're waiting on you.
I don't even see her avatar.
It said device not connected, so she was having a little.
Oh yeah, she might have to go to her settings and then probably take the block off to give permission for that, because that's what I had to do.
Okay, hopefully she can hear you, because I see that notification.
Can you hear me, AF?
She's not on yet right now.
Oh, okay. But that's what I had to do. I had to go in the settings. I actually had to give permission for them to accept the microphone and the and the cam.
Okay, let me put the link back in there. Remember, everybody's welcome. If you want to get on.
Everybody's welcome. Get on.
Especially y'all talking trash in there. You need to get on.
I know. Yeah, you're talking all that trash. You had all these. You want objectives, because that's called conversation and communication, and then we get to hear people's opinions. That's the most important thing. But when you start talking smack like that, and you don't want to get on here and back it up, you know what? I mean, I don't get it.
Well,
I'm here.
We're gonna go with this because they like to talk to each other in the chat.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, but I'm not even gonna go there.
Okay, what about the fact that the police were driving hybrids that night that are light gray, light silver in color? I mean,
you're talking about the rent-a-cops? Well, actually, we call them bulls, but yeah, we'll call them rent-a-cops. They want to be cops because they're real like security guards or something.
Well, one thing I will say about MPD is they did snatch all those videos down, and they didn't entertain that narrative. And that's
What a coincidence, huh? Yeah.
That's for a reason, because
yeah, of course,
on several places, the ones on Quora, Reddit, Facebook. Every time you click the link, it says it was removed. So
that's some pretty erroneous activity. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's just a little bit. Like I said, the mistake that I think they made with this Linda Lane narrative was trying to fit it into this 4 to 4:30 timeline. Because if he was in Moscow, from 3:29, then he had plenty of time to go to Linda Lane right then. What would he be doing? And what would he be doing on Steiner Avenue?
Yeah, I don't even know where Steiner Avenue even is.
Yeah, I have to find my map.
But here's what I don't understand. I mean, the families, if that were my family, we're not even going to go there, but if that were my family, they would be drilling and drilling and drilling to get answers. And I just don't know how you could just sit back and just wait for answers. I'm sorry, but those are your kids. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
No, I'm serious. Like, that is just not cool at all. I mean, no disrespect to E's family, but they're like just sitting back, like we discussed this before, like it never even took place. You know what I mean? Right. My family would be going ballistic. I mean, you just don't do that. I'm sorry, but they would be like, and then I don't know. I just don't get it. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. Either someone told me to shut up. It's like, no, I'm not going to shut up. Those are my kids.
Right.
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. But what still blows my mind is why they made every student in that university and still today sign an NDA. I never heard of that in my life.
Well, I think that goes along with the gag order, maybe.
Exactly, but I'm talking like when they first, for orientation or whatever the case may be. Like when I was at NYU and I was at Rutgers, I didn't have to sign an NDA. I've been like, forget that, I'm not doing it.
Well,
I thought that was just strange.
They want them to keep their mouths shut.
I know, but it doesn't make sense. Like, why? Why would you make someone do that? Evidently, there's things that go on. Yeah.
It's certainly not working. I would say that.
So I would say, I'm like, you want me to sign an NDA? And can I ask why?
Now let me ask you. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And I'm also asking you guys in the chat. I see the comments, so
I'm not looking at the comments.
I'm trying to figure out: is it possible that is it possible that Brian committed the crimes before 4 o'clock?
No.
Okay, most people say no. Why?
Because there's no way one person did all this. It's impossible.
No, I didn't say. Because he could have been with somebody else.
Well, that's okay. I'll give you that. If he might have been with maybe two other people, maybe. Yeah, but not just one other person. No.
Okay. Now, here's the problem that I have with him doing it before 4 o'clock, which I believe they happened before 4 o'clock a.m. My problem with that is if he didn't leave Pullman until he couldn't have left before 2:50 something, and he gave to Moscow, he could have got there probably about 3:10, or let's just say 3:15. Just hypothetical. This is hypothetical. If he got there at 3:15, okay, and they claim they have a sighting at 3:29, whether that was him or not, let's just ignore that. Let's say he arrives in Moscow at 3:15, and he commits the crimes starting at about maybe no later than 3:25 or 3:30. Okay, I think that he could have been leaving at 4:20 if he got there at 3. If he got started at about 3:25. But I don't believe that he could have done it between 3:30 and 4. I think. I just think.
Well, no, because you make a good point. Because I remember they were talking about this, and they said something like he left his apartment about 2:34 or something like that, or 2:24. Well,
Right.
X and E didn't get home, and K and M and K didn't arrive home until about 1:56, and E and X were already there around like 1:45. So
Right.
that doesn't make any sense.
Actually, they didn't even get home at 1:56. They were
Exactly, it was later than that. Yeah,
They were
right,
still in the grub truck because you could see the timestamp on the grub
right.
truck. It said
That's true.
1:56. So they couldn't have got home until a little after 2.
All I'm going to say is that the people were already in the house. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. Everybody was home.
Yeah,
You know?
well, they were home, but the other ones were in the house too, waiting for them. That's all I'm going to say to that.
When you say the other two, what do you mean?
I'm talking the organization, whoever did this. They were in that house. They were hiding. They were already in that house before any of them even arrived home.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because I don't believe they didn't go back with any of them. I believe that it was, like I said, it was the element of surprise.
Right. Now that sounds about right. So here's the big thing.
Right.
We know that one person couldn't have done all that in 8 minutes. And if he was with somebody else, 2 or 3 other people, they could have got it done in 10 minutes.
Right.
But
yeah.
But at the same time, who are the other people?
That's what I'm saying.
Who are the other people?
I mean, let me just say this much. I'm not going to go into detail because we already know what some of the injuries were and how they succumbed to the demise. But no, that's impossible. No way. Got to remember, one of them was stabbed 55, 57 times or 54 times or something like that, and they had their face crushed in. You were not going to get that. There's no way.
Yeah, that took time.
Yeah. Plus, you got to remember, look how much stamina that takes and how much endurance, that's going to take out of you. Every time when you move your arm, that takes a lot out of a person.
Right. Well,
so you get drained.
We got some serial killers that have taken out multiple people.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah.
But it was over time. It took more
right.
than 8 minutes.
Yeah. Not in 8, 9 minutes. That's impossible. There's no way. I mean, just performing that action alone for that amount of times, that alone would take a couple of minutes. I mean, you're talking. Like I'm not going to go into detail, but we're talking parts of the body, with things, things could get stuck. Things could. I'm not going to go into detail, but you know what I mean. And if you're not in the right area or something like that, you're going to have a problem. There's going to be a delay. So evidently, whoever did this knew what they were doing.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
With hypothetically. If all of what we're saying is spot on, right? Just hypothetically.
Right.
Then how did they come up with Brian as the suspect?
Okay, supposedly the way this came about, and actually I was going to bring this up, and you're going to call me crazy, but you can if you want. I don't care. But the thing is, it was something to do with a cat. I'm not kidding. They said something where the cat was urinating or something like that in the spot, and that's how they supposedly found his car or something. I'm not kidding. It's somewhere I saw this on TikTok or something. This is how this came about. I'll have to find it. But this is what they claim. This is how it led to his car.
A cat?
And it's something with a cat and urination or something, and it was something on TikTok. I'll have to look for it.
That's crazy.
But that's what I said. It's crazy. I know, definitely, mi pasa. But it is. But at the same time, I mean, they claim that that's the truth. But I'm thinking to myself, that's just ridiculous. That don't make any sense.
Right. Okay.
Only thing, again, they claim, like I said before, they said that the sheet supposedly was under Ethan's sheet or under his body or something like this is what they claim. And then they said that the DNA. I mean, just because it goes back to a family member that has nothing to do with you. That's ridiculous.
Right.
But what I crack up, there's no other prints inside that entire house, nowhere to be found.
Right.
I mean, that's just almost impossible, to believe. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, here's another thing that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you can help us out on it.
Well, it's like a Lady Macbeth. Think about it. It's down spot. You're like, there's no blood. It just doesn't make sense.
Now, a lot of people that were screaming that he probably did it, he did it, he probably did it. A lot of these people now, they are saying, they're not saying, well, we were wrong, but the momentum have slowed down a lot,
Yeah, they've changed. Yeah.
A lot. The momentum. Some of them have just gone on to other cases, and some they're looking at it, but not with the same intensity and the out for blood type vibe that there was in January and February, because people are upset about these kids. I know I was. I'm still upset about it. And so there was like a out for blood. You know how they used to grab somebody in the westerns and say you're gonna hang, and they would, as soon as they said guilty, they start looking for the rope. They didn't waste. That's
the thing. I mean, and you're right, because that's what it was first to begin. Like, everybody was trying to be brainwashed. They were trying to be programmed to believe that he is the guilty culprit of this entire operation. And now things are starting to change, and all this new stuff is starting to come out. And now they're thinking, oh, wait a minute now. Maybe we were wrong about this. We didn't think of, this is coming this way. This is coming this way. We didn't, so now it's starting to change everybody's opinion.
All right. Okay. Look at this comment from Robin Latham. I think one of the cars or more were decoys.
It's a possibility, yeah.
To be that many white suspect vehicles, it seems like the police felt like there was a white car involved because there were so many white cars on surveillance cameras, even though they could have been different cars. Do you think it could be something to the white car thing? And if so, what?
I still think the X has something to do with this too.
The who?
JD.
Why?
Because it's just, she wanted to break it off with him, and it was kind of like, well, he wasn't happy about it, and he wasn't kosher with it, and then it's kind of like, well, if I can't have you, no one can have you. He winds up with Murphy. Should have gone to the parents. It just doesn't make sense. I think he knew this was going down, and he never, that's what I think.
Yeah, it seemed like he did know.
Yeah, he did know. I mean, I'll put my hand to the Bible, that in the heart. Yeah, in a second. I believe he did know. But he never told the parents that either.
It's like he didn't want anything to do with them.
Exactly. And even when the first court appearance came, he never even got into court with the family, with the parents. He never showed up.
Okay.
So what does that say? Because, we love him so much. He's so supportive. He's not supportive. How was he supportive? He never even showed up at court.
Wow. Well, his DNA got cleared or what?
I think and that's a good. Here's the answer to that. Remember, they said in the beginning that some people were cleared way too fast, way too quickly. Right. I think he was one of them.
I definitely think he was one of them, because Mr. G wasn't happy with him at all at the memorial.
Exactly, and not only that, but he was at the corner club with them that night, and then I don't know, his behavior was kind of strange on that video. It was weird.
Maybe he's the snitch. Maybe he told it because she was leaving.
But I'm wondering,
Maybe because she was leaving, and
it makes sense. Yeah.
Or maybe think about it. Maybe they're gonna have a real baby, not a dog. Maybe they're gonna have a real baby, and she didn't have it.
That's a possibility also. And then she just happened to be in town when this all happened. I mean, come on, what are the odds of that, right?
Yeah. And from the beginning, everybody kept saying that she had a stalker. Maybe Jack D was the stalker.
That's what I was thinking about. The same, exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
Maybe he went. He liked to put the hood over his head. Maybe he was following. She didn't even know it was him.
Well, there was some guy at the convenience store. This guy had a beard and glasses, and they said they would come in, K and M, and that they would always talk about this person, but she never mentioned the name. But he always, he was concerned because she would always would come up from time to time.
Right.
But I can't remember the name of the store, but yeah.
All right. Okay, I see you, AF. Okay, we're not gonna drag you back on the stage.
We see you, now we want to hear you.
But we'll be looking forward to you. This thing is weird. My background thing was acting up a little earlier. It might not even be y'all's devices. It might be the software.
You know, I think this case goes so deep, way under the ground, and for each layer or each sediment coming to the Earth's surface, that's how deep it goes.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I do have another question for you, but I want to put a fun fact. Well, not fun. Nothing fun about homicide, but
yeah, there's not really.
But this part here, is something that really tripped me out, and I'm trying to pull up the article. Put the article up.
Okay.
Hold on, just 1 second.
Whoa. Take your time. It's all good.
All right.
Sorry about that. I was getting into my opera mode.
All right. Do what you got to do. Now,
it's all good.
This is not the right article, but I'll just put it up just for the sake of it and just give you my point. Did you know that the president of the university used to live in that house?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. What a coincidence, huh?
That to me is
creepy.
Very
ominous. Yes.
They say they're gonna tear it down, and I'm thinking he really wants it torn down for some reason.
Yeah, because there has to be secrets in there that goes way beyond, and if they are, discovered, he doesn't want to be exposed.
Yeah, because if they were saying there were tunnels under the house and blah blah blah, he would know that he lived there.
They're there. I know. People say that's not true. No, that's true. They're there. Believe me. And only he would probably know where they're really at. Amongst probably some of the students would probably as well.
Yes.
Supposedly one was in the kitchen or something, and then one was also led in one of the bedrooms or something. I don't know. Something like that.
Well,
I don't know.
I think the president of the university living in that house makes it seem even more like maybe it was a hit.
Yeah.
I just,
it definitely was. No doubt in my mind that. I mean, everything is right there in front of us, to
Yeah.
To define that. Yeah.
Tell the L says she's gonna get on the stage.
Who?
Tell the L. Tell the
who
L.
the heck is that? Oh. Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me put a link in here.
Oh yeah, I think I remember her from last time.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, there's a link. Whenever you want to come on. Now.
Come on.
Now, if this was something ritualistic because of the brutality involved,
I know about that. Yeah.
I feel like the elite at the university would have been in on it.
Yeah, I don't think this had anything to do with any ritual. I think this was a brutal, premeditated hit. That's what it was.
Oh, now let's look at this one. It's well established BK had no involvement. Well, hold on now, Terry. I think it's well established that he couldn't have done it between 4 and 4:20, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't know about it.
Exactly.
And he also could have unknowingly been the driver. It's
possible. But if he was the driver, then he's definitely part of it. It's
a stretch.
He's an accessory.
But he could have been the driver for other reasons and got caught up in. You know how people get caught up in stuff.
We talked about that. We talked about that the other day. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the devil, like that's how Satan thinks. He'll say, "Well, I couldn't get him with the heroin. I couldn't get him with being bullied or whatever. He overcame all of that, and he's over there at that university thinking that he escaped me, but I got something for him." And so
the devil wears Prada.
And so now he caught up in this right here. In his career is sitting over there on the shelf, that's how the enemy works. And so that's why I would say that 100% he doesn't have involvement, because it's too much of a coincidence that the police picked him as the suspect and we don't have his records or his alibi. That's a big coincidence, because usually when you just pick somebody to pin something on, something is going to stick out to contradict that. And the only thing that we have is that their own timeline doesn't work. Not necessarily proving that he wasn't in Moscow, because we can't prove that. We can't prove he wasn't in Moscow during that time. Can we agree on that? We can't prove it. We don't know where he was.
No photos of his license plate. No photos of him in the car. Just a sheet. Just a sheet at that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't add up.
But we still don't know where he was. Just
True.
because the police don't have his tag, we don't know where he was. Is what I'm saying.
They don't have a GPS on the car either, and all that. So
no, we don't.
That would have helped a lot. Yeah.
Only thing we know is what he tells us, because I think it's a big coincidence. Because usually when you pick somebody out the blue, or maybe it's possible that the MPD do know where he was according to his phone records.
Well, yeah, that is. But, yeah, that's true.
There's no pings during that time. Maybe there were pings. Maybe his phone did register a location and they're concealing it.
Yeah, but if you also remember, I think one of the pictures there at the house, I'm not sure if it was in one of the girls' rooms, but I think it said on the screen, it said not connected or no service or something like that, meaning like there was, there's no way you could even detect with what. I don't know. That was kind of strange too.
Does anybody know what his explanation was for his phone? Did he say that he had just turned it off or his battery went dead or whatever? Did he ever offer an explanation?
I don't think he did, actually.
Because, when you have somebody that's a suspect like that, sometimes if they didn't do it, they just don't want to tell on who did.
Right, but if you leave your location and let's say your phone was charged and then you're wherever you're going and all of a sudden, well, if your battery starts dying, it means that you've been on that phone for a long time, using that battery a great deal. Or if your battery was already low and you wanted to shut your phone off to save on the battery, that's a possibility too. So I don't know. I'm just thinking of different possibilities or scenarios.
Well, I'm just saying the prosecution is going to tell the jury, well, this is whatever he did to his phone, isn't it a big coincidence that he did it during the time of, unalive?
But see, that's what makes me concerned about the jury, because I think the jury has already been, how can I put this? Coerced.
Well, I think as a juror myself, I still could not vote him guilty based on the prosecution's case.
No.
But in the back of my mind, I would still have questions.
Of course, and that's a great point.
Unless they bring out something that I haven't heard that adds a little bit more clarity, I would still have questions about. And I would rather say he's not guilty and let him walk the street and let it catch up to him if he was involved, than to say he's guilty and send somebody's child to death row knowing good and well I didn't have enough evidence to convict. Because that's what happened with Casey Anthony. The jurors said, they actually said, it's not that we didn't believe that she did it, to her child. We just don't feel that the prosecution proved their case. That's what the jurors said.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what they said. So I'm thinking a reasonable jury will have to say the same thing here so far.
When? That's the question. When? Because this thing is dragging on like forever.
Well, here's your answer. Allegedly January 2024. Let me tell y'all something. Now that they waived that speedy trial, Brian Kohberger could be in that jail 4 to 5 years waiting on a trial, especially with all these requests to pause and delay. I'm being honest with you, because the wheels of justice, they turn very slowly. Okay, Lady Liberty is not in a rush.
OJ's trial was quicker than this. My God, I mean, seriously.
The more they drag it on, it's already been happening. The more people are going to back away from it and say, hey, this is a mess, it's a clown show, and they might just check out until there's an actual trial.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not that interested in the case.
That's what I'm wondering too.
I'm saying that they're saying the 2024. I don't even believe it's gonna happen in 2024. I don't.
No.
Look at how Ann Taylor just filed this motion, and he said she didn't file it within the allotted time. It was premature.
Well,
And
see, you have a public, yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think that was an amateurish mistake?
Well, it definitely was 100%. Plus, you don't. It's not like you have a private attorney. You have a public defender. There's a big difference right there. But yeah, that was an amateur mistake, 100%.
Yeah. Let me ask the chat. I'm gonna put a poll in here right quick, okay? Because I mean, people for some reason don't want you to say anything about BK or Ann Taylor. But I mean, I have to look at the facts. I have to look at the facts and what I'm seeing with my two eyes. All right, shout out to Miss Mick Winborn. Shout out to Lycurgus. All right, welcome.
These names, wow.
Thursday Night Live. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you to everybody that liked the live, hit the like button already. And
that's right. Tanto amore.
All right.
That just means much love. Okay, there you go.
That's right. Okay.
Respect.
Let me put this poll up.
Tanto amore.
I'm gonna see. I think that a lot of time was wasted on this grand jury, but it was something that she had to do, and the judge said today that it was done wrong.
That judge is not qualified for this case, and I believe that because if you just watch his body language when they show him in the courtroom, it just looks like he's never taken on such a powerful case like this in his entire career.
Okay, but that doesn't make him inefficient. You got to have.
Well, I know, but usually the ones that they usually put on a case like that, they've experienced, a similar situation, during their career itself. I just don't think he's ever. But then again, this town's never seen anything like it because that's put like the biggest case that the Italian of Moscow has ever seen or come across. I just don't think this judge is qualified. I think this judge, in my opinion, is amateur. That's just all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Well,
I will stand by that 100%.
Okay. Let's see what they're saying in this poll here. 60%.
It just doesn't seem like no matter what the defense says, he's siding with the state 100%, and it's just like he don't even care what the defense has to say. It's like I said, he's programmed,
right?
Because he already knows what he's going to say. It's already in his mind.
Yeah.
That's nice. But yes, I agree with you guys all the way. Everything you say, I agree. I don't care what they have to say. That's a big problem for Brian, though. That's all I'm going to say right there.
I think he's not so much unqualified. I think he's biased.
Well, he's definitely biased 100%. And you're right about that.
You got to say what they tell him to say to keep his job.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And yep. I think there's been discussions between the president of the university and the LE and all this stuff like that. And this one big circle, if you know what I mean. I think this is where all this lies.
Okay. And so there's a big difference between the law in Florida and the law in Indiana. When you're comparing this to the Casey Anthony case, I think everybody was shocked when she was acquitted. I know I was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because that baby had tape on her mouth. Okay, and so that's no accident. That's nothing to do with a swimming pool. That's not getting off the subject, but that's just not that's not it.
Well, okay? I think the father had a lot to do with it because he was an ex sheriff, and he knew how to cover up things, and he was good at it.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Who knows exactly what happened in this case? Who do you think knows exactly what happened?
D, 100%. B, 100%. E, 100%.
Yeah.
Those are my main, like, as far as girls wise. And maybe that other guy, what's his name? Oh God, who's the guy that she was in jail with? Demetrius.
Emma Bailey.
Emma, and then Demetrius.
Right. Okay, let's talk about them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how quick they had those charges dismissed. That would never happen with anybody else.
Now, do you think that Emma Bailey and Demetrius are involved in this in any way?
Well, I think that Emma is the one who got X back into that scene. And I think she was the one who coerced her into agreeing or accepting or just whatever the case may be. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think, I think she is the devil that wears Prada, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, so I think she definitely knows a lot more than she's saying. 100%. And I'm also wondering if she was there that night.
I think that she and obviously they're involved in the drug scene, and I think they just compound the theory I had for the past few months that this was a drug hit.
Oh yeah.
Somebody didn't come up with, somebody either took the stash out of the house, or they were short on the money, or maybe somebody else robbed the house and they held them responsible.
Well, yeah, because you are responsible.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah.
And I think it's drug related.
Well, if someone's stuff was stolen, if someone's money was stolen, if someone came up short, if someone decided to dispose of something, you have a problem. It's just that simple.
Now, let me ask you this. If Emma Bailey and Demetrius were involved, does that mean that they have to know Brian Kohberger, or?
No, no. I'm sure she knows who he is, maybe of him, maybe from that Halloween party or something like that. But I don't think he frequented that house on a regular basis.
Do you think that BK has ever been to King Road?
Yeah, maybe he might have been there once if there was a party or something like that. Maybe here and there, but I don't think he wasn't there on a regular basis. No.
For some reason, I just don't believe he's ever been inside that house. I just had that feeling, and I'm gonna tell you why. I feel like if he had been there, those students somebody would remember him. His face is everywhere. I believe somebody, even Enon Harsh or somebody, would have, DM or BF, somebody.
That guy's a mystery too. That Enon guy, he's a mystery too.
Yeah, he's a whole.
There's something about him that just doesn't ring well. I don't know what it is.
Well, he just adds on to the drug theory. Everybody that we've been investigating, they all have the same connection: drugs.
Yeah.
Because look at Enon Harsh's record.
Yeah, I know.
It's rough.
But they're saying a lot of people were cleared way too soon.
I mean, it's a whole bunch of different drugs. He had Molly's, he had meth, they caught him with so many different types of drugs. It's scary. And then these two on the screen, same thing, drugs. Okay, the house they lived in, drugs. I mean, we can't get away from the drug theme. It's almost like we have to accept that was the motive.
I mean, look at Emma. Emma, what girl normally has her own safe?
Right? Well, no.
But when she got
hers, I believe somebody else had the safe in her.
Well, that's a possibility, because when she got picked up that night, supposedly for a DUI, and she's in the back of the SUV with the cops. She didn't even have handcuffs on, which I thought that was interesting. And then she uses her. He said, "You can use your phone the entire way." I'm thinking, "Wow, that's interesting." And then she calls and she said, "Yeah, just go to my house and then go in the safe and just and get me like $500." And then she goes and just keep whatever you need for yourself. I'm thinking, okay, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I believe that somebody else has a safe in her possession.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
I don't even see her going.
And she has a nice house. I mean, her father has a nice house.
Yeah, it is nice, but
yeah,
I don't see it. I'm not saying it's not possible,
right?
But I mean, I feel like the safe being there, it could be somebody else's safe.
Sure.
Just like if it's drugs at a house, a duffel bag, it belongs to somebody else, but it's
Which is usually what it normally turns out to be, what you just said. Yeah.
It's no honor among thieves.
It doesn't attract attention right there.
It doesn't, there's no honor among thieves. And so if you
and maybe, yeah, maybe wherever they had it stashed, supposedly it could have been in the air ducts. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
And maybe when they got to look, it was gone.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Who was ever there and was being, was responsible for that, didn't care. You are held accountable.
Okay, I'm going to give this case about another 18 minutes to take us to 11 o'clock. So you all say whatever you got to say, because at 11 o'clock, I'm going to change the case. Something that I haven't done up until now, but I think we've covered quite a few things here, and I don't have other points that I want to bring out other than what's on my list here. So I do want to go a little further with the questions here. I want to go to the knife sheath. And then after we do the knife sheath, I want to put a case that came out a few hours ago and see what you think about that one. Okay? Now, this is the question I want to ask about the knife sheath. Why is there only one spot of DNA on the snap? You still there, Davino?
I'm here. Yeah, that is a mystery. That's what I don't believe. If that was your knife sheath, you'd have so many fingerprints over that thing or so much DNA, it would be endless.
Yeah. I think that it's a lot of amateurish stuff. It's almost like amateur night.
A plant. It could be a plant,
For the prosecution and the defense. I don't see an impressive job on either side. The legal system is nothing like it used to be, because a lot of stuff that went on in this case already, it wouldn't have gone on maybe about 25 years ago. And so I just feel like, this is going to be a sideshow all the way until the last day.
Wasn't it, was the sheath, it was leather, right? Or was it suede?
It was leather.
Okay, well, over time, leather wears.
Right.
And then the snaps don't always snap as tight as they normally would. I don't know how old, but the sheath looked like it was in pretty good shape from what they showed. And if you had a sheath that long over time, it wouldn't look like that.
All right.
Because I know all my buddies that hunt, what theirs look like, and they've seen, they've been through wars.
Okay, that's a very good point. I hadn't even really thought about that.
I thought about the first time I saw it, I'm thinking to myself, that looks like it was bought and was just planted there, in my opinion.
Right. Never used. Wow, that's a very powerful point. That's an extremely powerful point.
I should be an attorney. All right.
Yeah. You should. You really should.
I'm good.
Points here, but it's a hassle, I tell you. And
yeah, it is
responsible for somebody's future. I
know. I've been pulling my hair out of my head. I'm about to go bald. No.
Oh Lord, don't go bald.
It's a joke. I have thick hair, so.
Yeah, I do too.
There you go. It runs in my family. I don't know. We have real thick, wavy hair. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen. I want to switch over to another case, but there were some more questions I had about the knife sheath.
Sure.
Okay. This is the problem. Another problem I have is that law enforcement can't get it straight where they got the sheath from, and I know for a fact that they're never going to show us a body cam of actually walking up and seeing that knife sheath on that bed, because if that was the case, they wouldn't have had to stop saying that it was next to Maddie and then go back and say it was under her. I think they're saying it's under her now because they're not going to ever be able to produce any evidence that on body cam that it was there.
They said it was under Ethan. That's the newest thing.
Oh, that's the new one.
Yeah, and then that's how, when I told you what happened to him, that the sheet was found under him. Or under, yeah.
Okay, how could that work, though? How could that work that it was under Ethan?
I don't know. This is the new thing that they said, or maybe you're under his sheet or something like that. It's everything is changing all the time. But I think what happened, like I said, with him, he tried to break away or something, and that's what happened. But I don't know. The only thing that was a mission in the whole beginning when the father said that SG goes, yeah, we knew that she ripped it off him. I'm like, I don't think so in a million years, because in what happened to her, there's no way she could have done that.
Right.
No one could have done that. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
So I think it was planted. I really do.
I believe that either it was planted or whoever did it left it there, and law enforcement just put the DNA on it once they got him in custody.
That's what I'm thinking also. Yeah.
I mean, it's not complicated. I mean,
it's not. No.
Anybody's trash. All they had to do was get him into custody, and just whatever cup he drank out of, bam, there you go.
Ellie is very corrupt, so I could say.
Yeah, well, so is the street, and so I don't. Sometimes you don't know who to believe. But
amen.
I don't believe most of the narratives that I've heard. I'm not sure if these two here were even involved either, because when they were arrested, arrested in Seattle, Washington. And that's
I know, but their charges were dismissed pretty quick. And those are some pretty serious charges, which anybody else would not have gotten away with that.
Yeah, but that just means they snitched on somebody.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So if you're a snitch, right? I don't like that three-letter word anyway. But anyway, I'm just saying is that those are people you can't trust.
No, but if they're out there selling drugs like that, we knew that we couldn't trust that. I mean, to me, they were all the way over there in Seattle, Washington when they got arrested. So they couldn't have. I mean, maybe Washington.
Yeah, it's possible.
So I mean, that's why I never really was interested in them as suspects, because of where if they were busted for drugs right there in Moscow, I would be like, yes, they might have been in the middle of the action, but they were almost 300 miles away when they were arrested.
That is true.
I just felt like that was a red herring. Now, one thing I did hear that's pretty disturbing, and I hate to say, talk about this casually, but they were saying that there were organs removed from the victims, and somebody said there was an organ on the property, like they dropped one of them. Have y'all heard?
Well, I wouldn't hear about that, but if that's the case, that's usually a sign of like we talked about this before, like trophy or reward or something like that, or a memory or a mockery,
or selling or buying and selling, or
yeah. And if that's the case, now you're talking some real McCoy.
If organized crime was involved, I wouldn't throw out a snuff film. I wouldn't disregard oil.
Exactly.
I wouldn't throw any of that out. Only thing I'm surprised about is there was no sexual activity.
Right, which is kind of strange too. Yeah.
You got to tell it to L on the stage. She getting ready to get you.
Bring it, girl. You bring it.
All right, come on, tell it to L. Give us your take. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? I can see your signal is strong.
Now sing.
I guess she'll ring in because I can see she's her device is connected.
Yeah, she probably has to get permission. Like as she goes in her settings, that's probably what she has to do.
Okay. Hopefully, let me put it in the chat.
Yeah, if she goes in her settings and she has to go into the mic or the where she allows permission for it because it's probably blocked. That's why it's not going to pop on.
Put it in the chat in case she can't hear us. Because she's still on the stage. She's still on the stage.
I'm going to be really brief about this. When you talked about the OC part, yeah, that all makes sense.
Why you say that?
Well, depending on the scenario, but like I said, if the layers go that deep, I think whatever took place that night prior to that was so weird. Things were going on, and then I don't think it happened 1, 2, 3. I think it took at least an hour and then everybody was, you know what, prior to that, and then they succumbed to the, like I said, to the demise.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just.
But if it was organized, I mean, it wouldn't be so that much. It'd be over pretty. Now, there's two different things. I mean, the C and the M. I'm not going to mention names, but you think you know where I'm going with this. They're actually two different type of organizations. Usually, the C is more about the T word versus the O, which is more like it's done immediately. You follow me?
Right. I understand.
And that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think it was the C.
You do think it was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I do.
Okay.
Because that would make sense of all what you said about the snuff and everything and leading up to that, and if you remember that supposedly there was dogs used in this, they claim. If there was dogs used,
in the woods.
If there was dogs used, I definitely 100% the C on that, but definitely not the O. I'll tell you that much. You
heard that there were dogs involved?
Yeah, there's a recording of that. You can hear the dogs in this on the one. It's in TikTok. It's you can hear the dogs. Like I heard them pretty good. You can hear the people, these guys yelling, and you can hear these dogs going crazy. And that's when E was being supposedly tortured.
Okay, we got Tell the L back on the stage, and I think it's working now.
If you
Can
go
you hear
on
me?
Yeah, there you are. How you doing?
Okay. Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Yay, I'm here. Sorry,
All right,
I can't hear you guys very well, and also sorry, I've been really sick, so I sound ridiculous, but I had to call.
I hope you feel
it's all
better.
Right. Get yourself some brandy. That'll help you.
All right.
Or get some whiskey. That'll help you. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
It's an Italian remedy. It works wonders.
Okay.
There you go. Some brandy, some apples. There you go. Yeah.
Let me ask both of y'all this question. And the guy brought this up in the news today about the hearing. He suggested that Tell the L done popped off again. Okay,
Mamma mia. That's
she'll be back in. She got it. She's gonna get it this time.
Mamma mia.
Question. The guy said one of the attorneys after the hearing today suggested that Brian is going to get rid of his attorneys and represent himself.
That's what I said. I said it's gonna be like a Ted Bundy.
What?
Because yes, in a way I do, because that's what Ted Bundy basically. I mean, he goes, I want to represent myself, and he actually did a better job for himself when he had representation.
Okay.
And I think because Brian, he had a master's in criminal, I guess it was criminal justice or whatever the case may be, or criminology. He thinks that he can maybe represent himself.
Okay, I'm gonna put a poll up on that. Okay, Tell it to L. Can you hear me?
I can. I got kicked out real quick. What was your question?
Okay, do you believe that Brian is going to fire his attorneys and start representing himself after today?
I didn't. I mean, I got the gist of what happened today thus far. No, I don't. I don't think so, because I pray Brian is a Fed. That's all. If he's not, then I hope he fires them and does represent himself, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so if you saying that, you don't think they're doing a good job?
I just think I was very skeptical of Ann Taylor from the get-go, and then I changed my mind, and I was like, no, she's a bad woman. Like, she's doing good for herself. Maybe this is her come up. But then recently I started to think, but who appointed this woman? Someone from that area had to appoint her, and they're all in cahoots. I can't not believe that they're all in cahoots.
Yeah, that's a good point. And like I always say, you keep your friends closer, but you keep your enemies closer. There you go.
Correct. I mean, she has to live with all these people at the end of the day. Like, they see each other in restaurants and they go party together. Who knows what they do together? I don't even want to know what they do together.
There are some weird people, I'll tell you that much.
Well, they're all on the clock. They're all on the clock. I will say that.
Yeah, but they're milking this, I think. That's what I think what's coming out. They are just milking the hours, like, when there shouldn't be that many hours to be milked. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't you?
Well, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
But it almost like like AF said, she goes, I mean, during cahoots, like I don't really think they know. Maybe she doesn't even know what she's really doing, and she's just stolen. And then, okay, I'm gonna make him think that we got this in the bag, and we don't even know. We don't have nothing that's gonna help
Right.
you.
I mean, I hope we're wrong. I hope she is doing the right thing. I hope she is doing her job, so to speak. Like, I hope she's defending him the best of her ability.
Yeah.
Okay, I hate to say this, but it's the truth, and this is the Hard Truth channel. So far, she's not doing her job. If she
I agree.
If she missed the grand jury dismissal because of filing too early, she's not doing her job.
Yeah.
And do you think that was on purpose, like intentional?
I think it could be, but I think it wouldn't have mattered whether she did it on time or not. She wasn't going to get it. But
correct. I agree.
Did you hear that?
It could have been on purpose. Yes, that's a great question, because you know why that's a great question? Because that would be Judge's way out. He wouldn't be public enemy number one for dismissing the case. He didn't have to deal with it because she filed wrong. And I think that's an excellent question. And I think the answer is yes, because that let him off the hook. He doesn't have to worry about, public opinion. He just let it go on a technicality.
Absolutely. Gaza, there you go.
Question about, I was gonna do a video about this, but I've just been sick. But my thing with the alibi, okay, say Brian was at home sleeping like normal people, right? Would it have mattered if he said I was at home sleeping? Because to me, no matter what this dude said, they were gonna come for him. And I don't know if he's the DoorDash driver, because there's ways that he could be, but he couldn't be. And I think that they would know that by now. Like everybody.
Because I remember there was an interview with some lady on it who was a DoorDash driver, and supposedly she got into that residence, and she said that something didn't feel right, didn't seem right. And then when she was driving away, she got a call from some guy, and he said, "Why are you leaving? You need to get back there and make that delivery," or something like that. And then she called her supervisor, and she told him that there's something's going on here that's just not normal. And then they told her, to head back.
Well, it goes to what you guys were talking about earlier. If he is the DoorDash driver, I believe firmly that call was placed for DoorDash purposefully. I do not believe Xana was alive at that time. Don't growl at me.
And someone was on her phone, maybe?
Yes, 100%. I believe if you my personal belief, based on what I've researched on my own behalf and what I've learned from differing individuals who've done more research that I trust, and they're all separate people, it all adds up. And I believe that the leaked footage, that the audio that just came out, I had just figured out like what I believe is the whole puzzle, but I don't understand how still all these people are so sick that 4 people could be targeted and that many people can be involved. But if he was the DoorDash driver, he would be the one making that turnaround. And he saw what I believe, because I've seen it, I believe with my own eyes, and I'll tell you, we'll get back to that if you guys want to. I believe bodies were being taken out of the Linda Lane area when Brian would have been driving into that area. I don't believe they were being necessarily unalived.
Okay, first of all, for Brian Kohberger to be the DoorDash driver, his alibi is that he was just driving around. If he was a DoorDash driver, he would have to admit that he was a DoorDash driver, and that would be.
I think he did.
That would be.
I think he called them. He's like, I think, because you remember they said, I think they know he's the DoorDash driver. They said that the DoorDash driver contacted them.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it Brian Kohberger.
Oh, this is getting good.
That doesn't make it Brian Kohberger. And plus, where would he get time to be a DoorDash driver?
That's my question too. But I have an answer for you. I do. If he's a Fed and he didn't get the job at the police department because he's a Fed, then because they smelt a rat, and that's what I firmly believe. They smelt a rat. If he applied, here's the deal. I hope and pray, he's there to expose all these shady people. I really do. Because if not, I think he's going to end up dying in prison.
Yeah, but to remain in jail that long and to like willing to make
You
that
have to look it
sacrifice,
up.
that's a
You have
girl's
to look it
nightmare.
up. I've done my homework. I don't know that someone spent this much time in jail for something, but they have been convicted. They commit crimes as federal agents at times. And
Yeah,
the way they get exonerated, I can't wait to be exonerated, as he said, then it would be by the federal government. And that would explain his parents not speaking, nobody speaking. Nobody knows Brian Kohberger. Those kids don't know Brian Kohberger.
No, they don't. But at the same time, I just don't believe this man, even if he didn't get the job as a policeman, even if he had gotten the job as a policeman, he wouldn't have, like, I don't
No,
think.
if he didn't get the job, he then had to find something else to still be spying on these people.
But he wouldn't have started as a policeman then. He would have had to wait until he finished his program. You can't be a TA and a PhD student. Remember, he's a student. Some people can only handle being a student. They could barely handle having one job. That's a PhD level course.
But he was applying to be something with like cloud-based forensics, like not just a police officer.
But whatever he was going to be, he didn't have time to have all these jobs, is my point.
Well, I don't know. I think though, to me, the only thing that makes sense in any of this is that he has to be a Fed.
Well,
if he's not, he's kind of up a creek without a paddle.
Okay, I'm just saying it like this because I'm a grad student and I know time is precious. You don't have time for much because you have deadlines, you have papers to write, you have communication. You have to sit there, and I know we have to sit there and have conversations. I have to answer everybody back. Once I post my discussion question, I have to go and say something to 2 other people in the chat and stuff.
Right.
Minimum.
But what if we don't know if someone's doing his homework for him as him?
No, nobody was doing his homework because he's not that type of guy. He had.
But he said they are because he's only focused on the actual job at hand.
No, I don't see.
And that would make sense of why he's in the area.
I just can't see him being a Fed.
Well, I pray to God he's a Fed because if not, he's just, I can't even fathom. I'm not even thinking he's not.
Anything is possible, but I can't.
I never thought about him being a Fed, but I mean, anything is possible. That's true.
Well, that's just my belief, and I don't. Many people aren't talking about it, and if I bring it up, some people agree. But I'm just holding to my belief. I believe he's a Fed. I don't believe he's involved. Period. That's all I believe. I don't believe he's involved. I believe if he's involved, it's only by way of DNA. That's what I will say.
I mean, a person will be that dumb where there's 5 cars in the driveway, and to roll up.
He's not that stupid.
I'm gonna take everybody. You gotta be out of your mind. Because the odds of that. I mean, think about it.
Can you say that again, AF? I missed part of it.
Is AF on the line?
Yeah, he's here.
Who's AF?
Could you say that again?
Me or her?
You.
I just cannot believe that someone would be that stupid to roll up in the hours of the morning. It's still dark out. There's 5 cars in the driveway. You know what? Everybody's home.
And they're on the street. And
they're not home though, y'all. You guys, here, can I tell you one thing that I want each and every one of you to do? Like, can this be your homework for your listeners? Because it's very important. You guys have to look at the footage better. I promise you.
Okay, well,
what
now
footage
you're
you talking
saying
about?
That we haven't done our homework. And that's
what footage are you talking about?
That's not fair to say we
Yes, it is, girl. It's there. I promised you. I promise.
What footage are you talking about?
Linda Lane, you have to look. If you're not, I don't know. Someone else could explain this much better than me. This is what I believe. Girl, if you give me your email, I can send you. I'll show you what I'm talking about, and then maybe you can share. I don't know how to best explain it without sounding like a psycho. You have it on the screen. Okay, so you see where you got that red circle?
Right.
Okay. here's the deal. You're not going to see it just from staring at a TV, a computer, a phone, just like that. Okay. I've almost lost my eyesight probably looking at this. If you look, no, and I have really good eyes thus far, and I'm getting a little too old to not have good eyes, so I'm happy with my eyes. But you have to look, like the thing that caught my attention, you know, like if you say you're making a video, right, and you have filters, you can change the filters, okay? So change the filters a couple times, and then adjust your settings, like it lets you adjust on your own. Adjust the contrast and the highlights, and if you have it playing where it's like video playing, you're gonna start to see the movement. And I saw that, and you don't have this unless you have a good video or like photo editing thing, but if you have like where you can go, and some people have done difference mode where you can see when it's all dark, you see movement. There's movement there. There's people there, you guys.
But so what? What does that prove?
If you saw it, you would know that they're not just random people chilling outside.
Okay, what?
Yeah, I think I know you're talking about. You're talking about in the left corner.
Yes, the left corner. I don't know if that's an apartment. I don't know what room that is. But I believe at 12:30 they're being.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 or something like that. Yeah.
And the cars. One of you said that the cars are a distraction. I believe they are a distraction at certain points throughout this.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, you got 5 cars. Yeah.
What does people congregating at Linda Lane prove?
I don't know. I think if you saw it, you would feel the evilness of it. I mean, it proves nothing, but it proves that the police lied when they said it was an unusually quiet night. Rather, I mean,
we know that's a lie because we saw how much was going on around Banfield. We know that that city was quite alive, but at the same time,
I will tell you,
the time step on this video is around 4:00 in the morning.
Right, so but 12:30 also has movement. 12:30 also has movement, and I believe it was Ethan.
Let me just ask my question, and then I want to hear what you have to say. How can Brian Kohberger be on King and Queen Road and Linda Lane at the same time? Because
Brian Kohberger is not on King and Queen Road and Linda Lane at the same time.
Okay, well, who's on Linda Lane? Because
they're loading. They're loading. I don't even like saying this, but I'd rather say it than have it written on because this is getting dangerous for people. They're moving bodies into a truck, and I know the truck is there. These kids are bragging about it on social media.
Okay.
What kids?
The kids that are involved. It's not just Sigma Chi. It's disgusting, and the problem here is the fact that law enforcement knows this. So who do you tell when law enforcement and the FBI likely know this?
Okay, well, if it's on social media, everybody's heard it. So
yes, and I have another. I'll share with. I don't know.
Clout chasers. Look how many people. Look how many people created a Papa Rogers account after the first one popped up. We got so many Papa Rogers. It's a shame.
When you're talking about they're bragging about it on social media, are they going into detail?
They're not bragging, like, obviously, but if you're looking at them, you see it. I found this out. I found this out, and the day I found this out, I looked it up, and then that's the day that the new audio came out, transcribed from Kara Willis, and the names, certain names I had no clue of. The names matched the audio. This goes very deep, and it's very sick.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, it's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. There you go.
Let me ask you this. You believe that 2 of the Idaho 4 victims were unalived at Linda Lane and taken back to King Road?
Yes.
Do you think they were taken? Let me ask you this much.
I believe the scene at the house was staged 100%.
You wait, what?
I believe the home was staged 100%.
Okay, and you think that they were done some other place?
At Linda Lane.
in the alleyway or something like that they were talking about?
I don't know what I believe about two, but I do believe that, I don't know what I think about the Fight Club thing, okay? But I do believe Ethan and Vanna had already been dealt with ahead of Kaylee and Maddie. And my heart, the thing is I realize it's hard for anyone to wrap their head around and perceive how 4 people, because I believe every single one of them were targeted, which is a hard concept to grasp.
Now, I agree with that. That all 4, I believe that anybody that was home was targeted.
And part of me, yes, I believe, part of me wants to believe that the fraternity thing with Ethan was like, it happened, it was a fight, and maybe like it was supposed to be a joke and things went wrong, right? But I don't know, but I do believe Emma and Demetrius are highly involved. I do believe the kids at Banfield highly involved. And not the kid that I do believe, but not just only the kid that I've been saying killed his father. I'm saying the others were involved. And it's really, if I gave you the information, it would take you probably less than an hour to go down the rabbit hole, because that's what it took me. And then I felt sick.
So basically everything they were talking about,
I can't understand.
So everything they were talking about, basically, when they go into a lot more detail and some of this heinous stuff, a lot of it's true. That's what you're saying?
I believe so. I believe it was definitely not just revenge, but I believe whoever did this highly enjoyed it.
That's what I said too. Let me ask another question. The people at the grub truck, the ones they're looking at their phone simultaneously?
They're looking at what was going on.
That's what I thought. Exactly. I had a feeling that's what yeah. And they're smiling, enjoying it.
And that's disgusting, because that big guy, Joe Vito, called.
Wait a minute. Yeah. We got a problem, Houston. If everybody at the grub truck was looking at it going on the phone
after they left,
that was between 1:30 and 2 o'clock in the morning.
Ethan and Xana, I believe that's what they were looking at. And Kaylee, we don't know. We don't know.
Wait. You talking fast. If it was Ethan and Xana, that means that this tape is no good, because the timestamp is 4 o'clock. They could have been looking at it at 2 o'clock.
Listen. No, I don't know what the timestamp. I believe the footage has been messed with. I will say
definitely, that. 100%, yeah.
Okay,
but I also believe
it has been messed with. That's what I think.
Let me ask you a quick question here to AF. So you're saying, okay, because when the Ellen were there first on the scene that day, and they would not let the EMTs in because they said the scene was beyond horrific, you're telling me that was all staged?
I just saw today, I have read today, and I don't just believe whatever I read, okay? I trust very few people in this case. And remind me, though, that at the end of this, I have something to say about what I have learned from someone that I've talked to that I'm unsure of. I don't know if I'm talking to an unaliver, basically. But I believe, from what I saw today, especially now that you asked that, I don't believe paramedics were ever on the scene.
I'm confused.
I believe there was I don't believe there was a 911 call. If there was, it was not at 11:58.
Okay, now let's stop right there. Now that I believe is quite possible that there was no 911 call at 11:58. I can see that for several reasons. I don't want to go into each and every point, but I can believe that that's the reason why they can't let us hear the 911 tape, is because there isn't one. And there's also a possibility that those kids knew the police, and they could have called. Yeah. They could have called a policeman on his cell phone. They didn't necessarily have to call a dispatcher. They could have called the police directly. So,
and the lighting. If you pay attention to the lighting, even during that stop, you have to pay attention to the lighting. Even during the police stop, there was a lot of purple lighting.
Okay, I'm not sure where you're going with
That reflects, this is what I don't know how best to describe it and how to explain. These people tried to do things that like the military does with infrared lighting or near infrared lighting. Like you can be invisible, basically. They did a crappy job. They did a crappy job. And that's why I think sometimes it looks like a flashlight or a cell phone. Like even the dumpster, it looks like a cell phone. I believe they tried their best to use their cell phone lighting to deter themselves from being seen. But when you look hard enough, you can see people and you can see faces. I promise you.
Okay, I'm not doubting that. All I'm saying is, what does that prove? Because unless, I'm just saying.
Well, it proves that they should all have not been cleared 2 seconds after the fact, first of all.
Well,
We talked about that before.
I don't think anybody should have been cleared, be honest with you. I don't think anybody should be cleared until there's solid evidence of who did it. And right now, they don't have it. But at the same time, the timeline for the PCA,
I don't trust the PCA. It's not real. In my mind, the PCA is whatever they made it, and they can do that, right?
Okay,
because who are we?
The problem is the people that put out this Linda Lane tape are using the PCA timeline. That's no good. That's exactly my point. So to me, it's all trash because the PCA is not truthful or 100, and this tape
right
using that same timeline.
Let me ask you this much. Real fast. So when K and M were picked up and they were driven from the grub truck, right? And they found M's jacket on the fire hydrant. To me, it also sounds like that was a sign of something was taken care of. But also, do you think that they were possibly abducted from there and they never even made it home?
That's the thing that I don't know that I think they made it home. I don't believe the dog was at the house. If they ever went home, I don't believe they went home. And if they did, it was only them there. But the audio that we hear, if that's real, which I believe it's real, I believe that's what's going on at Linda Lane. And I believe that's happening at 12:30-ish. Okay. And I believe that they're at Linda Lane and Kaylee and Maddie are over there still, right? I believe if they did go home and get dropped off, I believe that she was calling or texting, whatever she was doing. I believe she was texting and calling because like, hey, where's the dog? But my question is, why did he lie to begin with? The first thing we ever heard was he was home sleeping. Then we see that. And why are we only getting still shots of anything? The car, the bar. Why are we only getting still shots? Why can't we see any real footage except I told Adam everything?
No,
I agree with that.
Now, they do have live footage of the Corner Club out.
They do?
They do.
They do, and I think there was an officer there that was off duty that night.
No, do you want to know who that was?
No, who was that?
That was the president that was Scott, whatever his first, Kumar is his first name, but he goes by Scott Green, the president of University of Idaho.
You're telling me he was a lookout?
I heard it was the cop Rosendahl, the one that took.
That's who I thought it was. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the white-head guy that looks like Fry.
Oh.
No,
who are you guys talking about?
We're talking about at the Corner Club when there was Kay was there, Jack was there, M was there, and then there was some guy with a black jacket on, which was almost matched the jacket that Maddie had on.
That's not Adam.
No, not Adam. That was supposed to be the cop that was off duty.
Yeah, the cop they're talking about with the white hair and the hat and the puffy jacket that they thought was Fry. That's
not him. The one who had the white truck. The one who had the white truck.
The one he's talking to. That people thought was Adam.
Yeah, but if you remember when they're walking down the beat, and then she's like, "I told Matt, what'd you tell Matt?" Right. But there's a white truck in the back that looks like it's like watching them or something. I think
I got a picture of Rosendahl with that truck. Hold on.
Yeah, that's his truck.
And I don't trust him either. I believe the police. And I don't know what I think. I think that the police were watching that house for a long time. I believe they knew drugs. They were profiting off the drugs in and out of the house.
I got
It
the
was
picture
a
right
nucleus.
here. I got the picture right here of that white truck, and I bet
Yeah.
nobody got this one. It was Rosendahl. This is that same truck.
And he's shady. He's shady.
Yeah, he's a piece of garbage. Yeah.
Look on the right on the screen.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. That's the truck right there. That was the one that's in the video when they're walking down the beat, and then it's in the back.
I told people that. They don't believe me. I told
Is
people.
the police department right there though? Because that's what I heard at the beginning, that it's right around that corner.
They walk.
But I don't care. I still sorry, baby. I still believe
that truck right there is the one that passed by Kaylee and Maddie on Main Street, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, she's walking with who was that, Jackass or Jack?
Yeah, and they're talking about. I told Adam everything.
It's like he was watching them as a lookout, like making okay, where are they going to? Were they going to the grub truck, or were they? I thought they were going to the
grub truck.
Right. And they was like watching them to make sure, like, you know, what was going on.
Yes, but Jack Showalter, if you watch the grub truck, Jack was texting Jersey boys 8 and 9 that they were about to get there because they slyly go around the left corner of the grub truck. And then they pop out as if they weren't there already when they get there. That's so obvious. And that's when number 9, I believe that's said to be Jack Katovich. I'm not positive. I think he looks like another boy that's in the frat, but what do I know? He's shady nonetheless because he's the one who calls Maddie over. She goes, hugs him. 2 seconds later, he makes that sleep gesture, like she's going to go to sleep. Why isn't he in jail?
Because, like you said, it was all...
It is. It's sick. It's sick.
Okay, let me ask you this much real quick. Do you think this... when I talk really... I abbreviate, you know what I mean? So you're kind of reading between the lines. Okay, but basically, I'm old school. So basically, do you think this was the C involved, or you think it was the frat involved with this whole thing?
I think it was all involved. C, right? All.
Because supposedly dogs were using this.
I believe everyone that we've all thought was involved is involved. That's why it's hard for people who think Brian Kohberger is guilty. They're never going to wrap their head around this.
Right.
Well, it's not so much that they believe that Brian Kohberger is guilty, because just like I couldn't convict as a juror, they probably could convict because of the DNA. That's what most of the people that I talk to who say he's guilty are hanging on to, is the DNA.
Right. But there's a reason for the DNA.
My personal opinion hasn't changed from thinking that it's drug related and that it was an organized hit, because I don't believe that these kids, I believe it was an organized hit from.
I believe that part too. That part I also believe. I just believe that we don't know who's involved in it.
Brian Kohberger had any other job other than TA.
Okay, but when we're talking about organized, now I want you to understand how I see this, and we're organized is not amateur. It's not say someone, hey, you know what, I need you to do this for me. This is all premeditated, and if it was organized, depending if it was C or if it was M, which I don't think it was M, it was definitely C. Now you're talking some nasty stuff, because when that stuff is taken care of, TCB, it's a whole different ball game. You know what I mean?
And it's
not a 1, 2, 3, bada bing, bada boom. It is.
I believe half of them might have been paid to be involved in this. I do.
I believe organized crime did it. And I believe that organized crime could have put the Linda Lane tape out just to throw everybody out.
Yeah.
Because look at how all of them were taking pictures on the porch the day before. That is so creepy. And then
But how do you explain like the real kids?
The fact that everybody is still talking about who did it 9-10 months after it is, to me, is also evidence that it's organized crime. Because if the kids had done it, I believe all of them would have been caught by now.
I don't. Not with the money that is entailed in this situation. I believe organized crime is involved. I believe that the head honcho of this, and I don't want to say things because I don't want to be absolutely brutally wrong, but and because I don't know, I've tried to talk to myself about this because I don't know who else to talk to about it. But I know, because I know that other people know this, it goes from the top to the bottom, so to speak. And it is involving the university. It is involving 2, maybe 3 fraternities, 2 of which are at University of Idaho. The other one is not. The other one entails Dylan's boyfriend. Those.
I believe organized crime sent their own people, which is what.
But I believe Dylan's boyfriend is involved with organized crime.
Now that's possible, but I don't think they would have used him. I don't think they would have used him. I think they would use some people that unalive before. That's what they do. They have people that they see.
Do you? Okay, I agree.
They don't need to use kids from the school.
Do you believe?
Because they talk. Okay.
I agree. I thought they'd all have cracked by now. I thought the same thing, but maybe not, because they're groomed. These kids are groomed to be this way. But the rich kids, the frat boys. But listen. I have a question. Demetrius and Emma. Listen. I have a question. Do you think? I forgot my question now.
They're involved.
No, I'm not asking that, because I don't need to ask. I firmly believe they're involved. I also firmly believe other people that are Dee's acquaintances are involved. One of which includes someone at Banfield. There's athletes involved. Like, this goes deep, and I would rather just tell her, can I email you and I'll tell you and you can decide what you want to take of it, because
I think that's a great idea, because
I would rather do that than
I'm open to any.
I mean, you take it as you wish, because that's just, I believe it because it rings true to what I've learned thus far.
Well, stick to what you believe. Stick to what
thank you, Bombshell.
That's exactly what I do. I stick to what I believe. And
it hurts my heart, though. Like, it makes me sick. I went to bed the other night already being literally sick, and it really
was sick. I'll tell you that much. What happened to them was very sick.
It is, and I'm trying to see these pictures, and I don't want to see them.
Yeah, I do want to see them, because to me, it's not like it was discussed the other night. When you have the little fish, then the big fish pops in, and guess what? Then the big fish has to take an order from the other big fish. You get my drift?
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really, really messy.
Yeah,
and there is no
it's very sad that this many people in such a small area can be involved in such heinous, disgusting. I mean, it's cult-like. I agree. It's definitely cult-like. And I don't know, maybe that's part of it too. I can't wrap my own head around how so many people could be in conjunction with doing something this awful. But I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes.
I would love to go to that town with some of my boys, and I like to walk around and ask some questions, seriously, and look at some of these characters and say, seriously, I mean, I would, but that's just me.
I thought I wanted to go there too, but
I'll get some. I'm going to be brief here. I'll get some of my boys from Brooklyn.
Well, we were supposed to go to the trial, and they moved the date.
You were going to go?
Yes, we were supposed to go to the trial. At least I was. But October the 2nd, but then when that I was like, I'm not going to be sitting here trying to make travel plans for something that's not good, because I know how long he's going to be in jail.
Right. That'll be a pleasure.
I'm going to tell y'all one more recent reason why I believe it's organized crime, the way Ann Taylor and the judge are acting. Because the way that this
scared
today.
That's why I'm not saying what I'm wanting to say.
They're scared.
I'm not getting in trouble with organized crime. I'm not disrespecting. I'm not trying to call names. And I don't want to know who in organized crime did. I have no desire to go any further. But to me, the way that it was done, and today, for this man to be up there, just, he knew before he stepped in the door and let all those people talk that he was going to dismiss it over technicality. I don't even see why he let them make their statements. It was all a show, because he knew before he came in the door that because of that technicality, he couldn't approve it. And then for Ann Taylor, somebody that's supposed to be a high-powered lawyer, to make that kind of mistake, it's like they had to do that. And so
I know.
They don't have to do that for local folks or for people there at the school, or I don't care if it is frat or whoever. This is a quadruple homicide. But when it's organized crime, you can't just bring John Gotti in for questioning.
No, right. I 100% agree. And that's why I want to tell people, I want to say what I know, but I'm not going to risk my life for, I almost want to, but like, it's why, like, these people had no problem doing what they did.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
And I do believe it's very, if you go from the top to the bottom, I do believe it was a hired hit. In a sense, it was a hired hit. I do believe that it could be very dangerous and we could all be scaring ourselves at the same time. But I know one of the people is a little too close for comfort for me. And so I want to tell everybody what I feel like I know, but why? Like, it's just,
yeah.
And the sad thing is though that, like, in this situation, law enforcement knows. I firmly in my heart believe they know.
Because it's organized crime and there's nothing they can do but what they're doing right now, covering it up.
Yep. And they will never have blood on their hands. Even if the cops had nothing to do with it, but they're covering it up because of the school and the money, they're never going to tell the truth.
Crime. That's the only time that the school or the police will have to act in this manner, to where they're not even allowed to solve the crime almost. That happens every day.
Oh, it's like a Jack the Ripper is what it is.
They could be working.
Well, that's part of the problem.
With organized crime. Some of them could be networking with organized crime. They're going to cover it up. That's their job to cover it up. Look how many times they went to King Road on body cam, never arrested nobody, never investigated, never went in the house from what I could see, just pouring out alcohol. They were on the house like white on rice, but they never made any arrests. Never.
And I think that they purposely did that. They were watching that house. They were profiting. My belief, they're profiting off of what happened at that house.
Of course they were.
No matter what those kids did, they did not deserve what happened. They were naive at best.
I don't think anybody.
I don't know what they did, but whatever they did, it was
Money is a big thing to kids. You know what I mean? Like, they did not know what they were getting into if they got into something.
Well, they should know, because the parents of some of these kids is in the dope game.
I know.
Selling it. And so they were no stranger to the streets. And so
I get that. But my dad was like that too. And he died last year. But I would never, ever in my life imagine. Thank you. I would never, ever in my life still. And I'm street smart because of his situation. You know what I mean? People judge me. I'm half black, half white. People judge me all the time. I've been bullied all my life. Oh, she thinks she's white. She's not this. White girls calling me the N-word because that's the best they got to say about me. So I got my dad's life though, and I understood a lot that I never think I would have ever understood had he not been in those shoes. Right. And I would never want my dad, like some of these people out here, blaming him for my mistake. And I definitely, if Xana was trying to make money for her mom, like I've heard, good for her. I mean, I just don't think these kids had a bad bone in their soul. You know, like they weren't.
Good for her. What?
I'm just saying, like, she didn't deserve to be killed because she tried to make money for her mom.
She didn't deserve.
Yeah, but whatever happened in this happened. I mean, it has to go way beyond for this. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it was money. I don't think it was money.
Like, I'm just
Come
gonna
on
say,
now, your child is in university. You never even been to the house where she's living. She said that on News Nation, and she never even been to the campus. All the questions that Ashley Banfield was asking Cara, she couldn't answer them because she had never been to.
No, I agree. But
Xana's
I agree.
responsibility was to get her education, not to be codependent, trying to take care of an adult. That wasn't her job. And
it wasn't. But if she was trying to do something like that, could you blame her?
Yeah, because if my parents wanted me to deal in anything illegal while I'm in college,
I ain't going that route.
I don't think it's. I don't know. I'm not saying it like that. I'm not saying it like that. I believe if she thought her mom was in trouble because of money, I'm not saying she was doing illegal dealings for her mom. I'm just saying she thought her mom was in trouble and needed money, and she was trying to get it.
She's always in trouble. I'm not knocking Kara Kanoda, but she's on the run right now. She's always
no, we don't know that. We don't know that. The article was old news.
No. I'm talking about right now. Right now. I'm literally.
I know, but JLR likes to. What is the word I'm looking for? I don't know the word. JLR likes to make light of everybody who's going to jail when that could very well be not true. It could be on this. Maybe she's on the run. Maybe she's not.
I didn't get it from JLR. Let me tell you something. Kara Kanoda has a drug problem, and so
I know she does.
A person on crack always in trouble and always need money. That's right.
You got that right. Amen.
You don't have to guess about that. And that wasn't Xana's job to be.
But how do you know Xana didn't feel like that wasn't her job? We don't know the relationship just based on her mother and her father's words. Her father has had hardly words.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't have anything to say either without an attorney.
Okay, I got something to bring up though. Good point here. Now that we're talking about parents and families, did everybody see Ethan's brother accept that award last night?
No.
I missed that.
On what? For his degree?
No. Ethan's brother got the first Ethan Chapin scholarship fund award. He was awarded last night.
I know what you're talking about. And then the sister got an award a few months ago.
She got the girl thing months ago, yeah.
They better watch their asses too.
They got pictures of Ethan's sister with some flowers and stuff.
Yeah, the girl that they choose to be their girl of whatever.
That's kind of weird. Family wins the award?
I can't with that because honestly, I can't believe they're at that school.
Well, I can because
I can't.
I can believe they're at the school because first of all, the school owes them because it happened to their kids on their watch. And so,
why are they giving the school money then?
Well, I don't know what they're giving the school. I heard that they go in there for free. That's what I heard. I heard that all of them got a free ride.
Well, that's scarier than if they're paying them, I guess. Because if they're
they need to pay them because it happens on their watch, and the police had been in that house enough times to know that they should have shut that down, and they didn't. And so that if they're gonna give free tuition, I mean it's up to the family if they want to take it, but they definitely needed to offer it.
I've kept my mouth closed about the families, all of them basically. But from day one, I'm sorry if Sigma Chi is involved, then his brother knows that. And I have said from day one, maybe his brother didn't know what was planned, but he knows now. And if you watch the video from last night, it shows, it's like go to the Instagram of the Idaho Sigma Chi, and it shows the whole, it gives us a shot of everybody in the background. And
right.
I just have very weird vibes. And I just have very weird vibes, and I've had weird vibes from the beginning, but I don't want to call out that kind of thing, period, because it is what it is. I hope that's for God and them to deal with if that's the case.
Well, that's true. Well, I have another question, and this is going to throw y'all in another direction, kind of back to what we were talking about before. What do you all think about because we're talking about timelines, and I'll have to make a video because I got it all mapped out. What do y'all think about the calls from Kaylee's phone and Maddie's phone at about the same time that Kohberger is supposed to be, getting on the highway? I think it was 2:56 was the last call. Do you believe that was Kaylee on her own phone and Maddie, or do you think it was somebody else?
What do you think, Davina?
I think
is he gone?
Let me put him back on.
There you go. Hey.
Every time. Last week I was laughing so hard.
What are you doing?
We're supposed to laugh here.
He was singing last week after you were done with the live, and I had it on one of my devices still. And he was singing.
I was laughing so hard. Talk to Davina.
I love it.
That's what it's all about. Forget about it. No, I think she was making calls to her ex, wasn't she? Like she made like 6 or 7 calls.
They're saying
she was drunk dialing. She saw him.
Her sister
the dog was gone.
Listen, the sister, Mr. G, Kaylee's sister, one that was the first one that told us Kaylee was making those calls, not the police. Remember? So most likely she was making them. So how do we account for the fact that perhaps she was stressed?
I don't trust that guy.
Yeah, I believe she made them. I believe she made them. I believe she called him because the dog was gone.
That's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah, but how did the dog show back up at the house?
I don't believe that until they show me body cam proving the dog showed back up at the house. I don't believe it like I don't believe anything else they told us.
They said
there was a report of a dog.
They said they got it on body cam. Officer.
Yeah, let the public see that.
So you think that house was all a front?
Well, I don't think it started out that way. I think that house always was the dope house. And when they moved in, they just took over.
Yeah, but I think there was an agreement with that place. If you do this, and that, you can stay here. I don't think there was. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's. I think maybe they weren't even paying rent to whoever was in charge.
That was the agreement. Yeah.
It's all about money anyway. Because why else would you try to study in that environment? I wouldn't dream of trying to finish my courses. I couldn't finish my courses in that environment. I don't drink alcohol, but if I lived in a house like that, I probably would try it. As a matter of fact, that's how I even first started. When I did drink, was in college for my bachelor's.
Yeah.
How can you do you? I mean,
can't party. You can't surround yourself with people like that if you aren't doing it.
You can't. No, you can't. It's impossible. There's no way.
I mean, you can't.
Well, I don't think my.
I used to drink a lot, and I don't want to be around drunk people.
My university would not let a house like that just go on like that. I just when I saw the party, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So I mean, I guess every state, but there's no way in the world that's gonna
every state is different because you know what?
That close, you have to go a little.
I've been to a Sigma Chi
to get your drugs, or they come to the club and stuff like that. But just to have something wide open like that close to right there almost on the campus, is bewildering to me. I mean, they were having a good time.
I've been to a Sigma Chi, like for real, Sigma Chi. I realized this after learning all this. You know how they said they don't have cameras? That's a bunch of crap.
Well, certain things have to be investigated. But I want to show one more case before we dismiss. I'm going to change my screen here.
Everything else you asked me, I plead the fifth, and that's it.
This has nothing to do with Idaho 4, but it's a growing problem. And so hold on, let me pull up my screen here.
And don't forget, is your email available on your About You page, on like your page for me to email you?
I put it up. I'll put it up again. Hold on.
Okay, let me make sure I catch that. Oh my God,
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Now I'll be looking for it.
Yes.
Whoever you make sure you point out what I'm supposed to be looking at now.
Oh, I will.
All right, here's the picture right here.
Between the lines, you know.
Now, this here to me is almost as disgusting. It's not quite as disgusting as this case, but almost. Okay, this has been going on for a while, but this just came out a few hours ago. This lady right here is sending nude pictures of herself to her student. I think the student is 16 or 15 or something like that. I think surely she's in custody. Now, why are these ladies doing this? I understand that you have problems with your sexuality and like them young and stuff like that, but that's pedophilia. It don't matter what's a man or a woman. If you entice a child with sexual stuff, that's pedophilia, even if a woman does it.
Addiction, maybe? I don't know.
You know how many of them? You know how many of these cases popping up now? It's like a
fad. You think that for them like paying attention, or that's if they even do that, but they would learn something. But it's almost they want to get caught.
I mean, and then why would you send pictures like nobody's gonna see it? Well, you think the child is not gonna show his friends? What the teacher? I don't understand the rationale. I don't. And this is in Missouri. Ricky Lynn Laughlin, 24. She's 24 years old. I thought she was older. But still,
she's got issues.
Why would you send somebody's child these pictures when you seeing all these other teachers be arrested?
Well, here's a question I have.
Maybe a man's perspective.
If a 17-year-old participates in activity with a teacher with consent, why isn't that 17-year-old being charged as much as she is?
But what you gonna charge him with?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Now let me ask you this, Davino.
It wasn't like she was saying, if you don't have Zaka with me, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna fail you. You know what I mean?
Listen, I can't understand. I'm trying to understand. I don't understand how. I mean, I can understand somebody being attracted and they know it's not right, and maintaining themselves and going on about their business. But to actually listen, when I taught high school math for a few years, and we had a teacher that was messing with a student, and when they charged him, or they didn't charge him right away, they put him on leave, and he shot himself in the head, like 2 days after they put him on leave at my school. But this was a man and a female. I never encountered a female teacher doing it, but it's all over the place. But I never experienced it. Witnessed it.
Of course, yeah.
But one lady, when she did it, her husband got on the phone and told the victim's parents, the father. He said, "Why would you do something like that? You sick, you're disgusting." Her husband tried to settle it out of court and say, "Don't call the police. We'll work it out." The husband was trying to help his wife cover it up.
Wow.
I don't understand.
As bad as she is. Yeah.
I don't understand.
The problem is that when these women commit these crimes, and they wind up in the big house, they don't last very long. You know what I mean? Because these women in there are the ones that they miss their children deeply and dearly, and they hear that coming in, they already have the full report. You know what happens.
You know what? I know what happens, but this is another thing I don't understand. When they get arrested and they get in the interrogation room, they act bewildered, like they didn't know that's what was gonna happen. Like it's not like it's no big deal.
That's the actor they play, yeah.
They keep asking, "Can I go home now?" and stuff like that. Like they don't understand. You're being charged. You're being charged. You listen. If if a 24-year-old man send pictures of himself naked to a 15-year-old
Right.
child, they'll have him under the jail so fast. He might not even make it. And once he get to jail, he better watch his back. And so when these women do it, I mean, when a man does it and he gets caught, he knows. A lot of them will tell you, I don't want to go to jail as messing with kids. I'd rather my charge be something else, because they already know. But these women, it seems just oblivious. I did it, so what? And, slap me on the wrist and I'm not going to do it anymore. And then some of them have done it to more than one child. That's pedophilia.
Yeah, it's sick. I don't know.
I have sons, and just to, it's not.
Yeah.
Even though it seemed like a lot of these guys I hear say this, and it kind of makes me upset. I hope you don't say it, Davino. But a lot of these guys say, "Oh, that teacher's hot. I wish if my teacher was like that, I wish she would have came on to me like it's a joke." But a 15-year-old is not ready to handle all that.
You're right, because when I was in school, well, Catholic school, but then I mean, we never thought like that. But then it's like this whole new generation is completely different now. I don't get it.
It's more of it going on now. It used to be mostly men. Every blue moon you would hear about a female doing it. Remember when the lady did it and then she went to prison, came out and had another baby with him, and the Hawaiian guy.
Oh, yeah.
And finally they divorced after the kids were grown. She had a husband. These women be having husbands and they'll still do it. Now let me ask you this, Davino. If you were married to a woman and she was a school teacher, let's say you 30 and she 27.
Right.
And the police call you and say, we got your wife down here for sending nude pictures to one of the students. What would be your reaction?
Ciao presto. Chimiawa.
I'm just saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. See ya.
How could you? And then the husband, maybe he don't want the world that they built together to,
No, that'd be it. It'd be over. It'd be it. That would be it. It's over.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And then some of them, the kid is in middle school.
Yeah.
I seen it. I seen elementary, 6th grade.
That's sick. Yeah, it's sick.
And so, and then look at her mugshot. She ain't taking this seriously.
She will when she gets in.
Look at her mugshot.
She's only in county, right? She's in county. Whether she goes to prison.
I think they're doing it for attention. I think they're not.
Oh yeah, I said they're doing it for attention. That's exactly what it is. It's a rush to them. It's because they figure, oh, I've been doing this for so long, I haven't been caught, but now I've been caught. I want to be on camera. So yeah, that's exactly why they're doing it. It's weird.
For attention, because look how she's looking on this picture. And the other girl, when they stopped her, she was driving, and they stopped her like on a dirt road because it was like the country. And when they told her to put her hands behind her back and stuff, she had on a little short dress and stuff, and she was just flouncing around. And I was thinking to myself, I don't think she realized the magnitude of the situation.
Well, she's registered as a sex offender now for the rest of her life. I'll tell you that much.
I don't get it. And then the women are good-looking women, not to be risque, but they always seem like they wouldn't have a problem, you're married, so you can't be hard up for a man. She's a nice-looking lady here.
She's a nice-looking lady, yeah.
What's the problem? Why did you need that? And she looked like she's been doing it too.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly right.
I don't understand it. And then one school is being sued because the other students told the principal that the teacher was doing it, and the principal brushed it under the rug, and then the teacher kept doing it, and then that's how you know that it's a problem. It's a mental problem or something, because even when you're about to get in trouble, they still doing it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't. All I know is
it's a shame. Yeah.
You don't do that. You don't do that. Leave kids alone. Everybody watching this, if you're watching on replay or whatever, whoever's in here right now, leave kids alone. Please leave kids alone. Please leave them alone.
Yep.
Please, just leave kids alone. Because then when we have cases like this, let's say we find out Brian Kohberger did it. Okay, let's just say, just hypothetically, we find out down the line he confesses and says, "I can't take it anymore. Yes, I did it." Now, you wonder how could a monster do something? How could somebody become a monster like this? Because people mess with kids.
Yeah,
and they grow up to be monsters. You leave kids alone. Please leave kids alone.
I agree 100%.
I can't see it, but I don't know. We're at 11:56. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about? Because I usually shut down at 12. But if y'all got a couple more things y'all want to get off your chest, I'm here.
I'll give a shout out. I'll give a shout out to AF because she was really interesting tonight.
Yeah. Shout out to AF. AF
she was great.
On it. And shout out to
exactly.
What
was that?
Might not get back on the stage with you, Davino.
Oh, as one thing, I'm just gonna say to both you. As we say, "È una piacere parlare con vostri signori," which means it was a pleasure speaking with both you ladies tonight.
And it was a pleasure speaking with you, sir. Thank you so
as
much.
As always, I'm gonna sign off. Let me know and send me your cash app tag so I can send you something this tomorrow. All right. I will.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Because I didn't get it last time, so I couldn't send it. But it'll be coming to you from Davino. Okay.
Listen, you can get my cash app on my community page.
Okay. All right. I'll pull it up. I'll send it over tomorrow. Okay.
Just go to my community page. Cause I don't like to spend my time begging on a thing. I just can't bring myself to do it. So when people donate, I'm grateful for it. People know it takes time and money to run these channels, but.
It does. You're putting your time and effort in. It's a lot of work.
But at the same time, people need to pay their bills, and then if you got it to throw something out, it's appreciated. But if you know you are not paying your bills, or you got bills you need to pay your bills.
Yeah, I'll look for your tag, and I'll send you something tomorrow.
I sure appreciate it, sir, and thank you again for
my
coming.
Pleasure. Tanti d'amore. Look, you have yourself a good night. All right, buonanotte, Sonny Dioro. Okay, have a good one. Ciao. All right, ciao.
All right, Elle. Thank you too. Tell it to Elle and Davino. Great guests. Wow. Thank you so much. This is a beautiful discussion we had. Love you too, Elle. Thank you so much for spending the time. I appreciate it so much. Y'all really make the show. It wouldn't even be a show if we didn't have different perspectives. And I like that people are coming on with stuff they really believe, whether I agree with it or not. And it seems like you really believe the things that you presented here tonight for us. And so thank you very much. I want to say thank you to my moderators. Thank you to, my month-long or year-long members, Robin Latham, RJ Case, Agape Love, okay, Cindy Abbott. If you look on the thumbnail, you can see those that started out with me. Sudi Vaycheck. Hey, we had a crew starting out, and some of them are still with me, and I thank God for you. All right, and so we're gonna shut down here. And as I told, I'm gonna put my email on the screen, and as I told Davino, the Cash App and PayPal is on my community page, and also now you can use Apple Pay for PayPal. I didn't know if you know that or not, but last week I think they came out with that to make it even easier to donate quick on the run or when you in a rush. But thank you so much to everybody. This is the last live from October, and so thank you to everyone that gave in October. You still have 4 days left. But to those who have already given, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you to AF for 20 memberships last week. Okay, or last meeting. Thank you so much. Applause. Thank you for the donations. Okay, AF is our donor of the month again. This month is she's hard to beat. I just, you have to own a company, I think, to run her out of her spot. But I just thank you for everybody. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave this chat open for 10 minutes so that you all can say goodbyes or whatever. And I'm going to put my email back on the screen. Tell it to L. I'll be looking for your correspondence so I can review it. I'll be making another video drop tomorrow. And so if you send it early enough, I can put my feedback in the video. All right. So if shout out to our international viewers. All right. Alice there over there in Scotland. I don't know what you're doing. We're looking for you. We got a bounty out on your head, Alice there. If you're listening in Scotland, all right. South Africa in the house. I appreciate you. Okay. Canada, Australia. We can never stop talking about Australia. We have so many Australian viewers in so many Australian cities. I feel like that's part of American crew. All right. We love you. We love you over there in the UK, in Germany, Scotland, the Nordic countries, Switzerland, Norway. We love you. And thank you so much for watching. All right. All right. I'm going to tell you good night. And the next time we have a live will be in November. So thank God we're still here and we get to see November. All right. And anybody with any information, there's the email on the screen. And thanks again to all of the donors.